Wicked, wicked. Jungle is massive. Wicked, wicked. Wicked, wicked. Jungle is massive. Wicked. Yo, 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 yo. Tell them how we got this skill.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Claret and Booze. Impending copyright strike coming, no doubt. I did run a test on it. I ran a test. I think we're going to be all right. I ran a test. I didn't upload it, so we should be all right. We should be okay.
I was watching the views. It went from 109 down to 102 as soon as that started.
It's a one-off. It's a one-off video because we won a game.
I hate that song. I hate that song. I'm sorry.
I quite like that. That was good. That was good. Right. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the game yesterday, and then there's loads of talking points from that game.
There is.
We're gonna get into the player ratings as quickly as we can, so that we can open the phone lines and crack on with the phone calls, because Gary's got to be up at 5 a.m. for a run, and we don't want him to turn into a pumpkin. So we know he don't do late nights. But anyway, John, how are you, mate? You got a bit of a bad back, ain't you?
Yeah, I got a dodgy bad back. I've been trying to run like Gary, did a bit of running, did a bit of weeding on the front drive, and I think I've done too much on one day. So I've had a bit of a bad back, and I was in agony over there yesterday. I ended up standing in the bobbing more lower because I could not be bothered to climb up to my seat. So I stood in the bobbing more lower, and yeah, it was good, but I was in agony. So I'm happy with the performance. It cheered me up, and it made
it's better down there anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's more expensive down there. It's more expensive down there, you fucking squatter.
Yeah. You know what?
I can't go up there. I've got a bad back, haven't I? I've got a bad back.
Sorry,
mate. So John's ambulance geezer come over to me and went, "You're right, mate," because I was leaning over going, I was pulling all these faces, but
yeah.
No, it was worthwhile in the end because I was livid. I couldn't get in the turnstile either. My ticket didn't work. So I had to go all the way back to the ticket office. I had luggage because I'd been up in Wolverhampton all weekend. Oh, it was a fucking nightmare.
Chris Harris may have a point. It's the weight of that noggin. Do you think it could be? Do you think?
Chris Harris, how do you spell his? I'm going to ban him.
Yeah.
How do you ban him? Time out.
So you struggled to get in, and you were shuffling all around Stratford like you'd shit yourself because of your bad back.
No, I was carrying a bloody big duffel bag. Freddie had a duffel bag. We'd come back from Wolverhampton on the train to get back for the game. Ticket didn't work. The woman on the turnstile would not. She was so inflexible. It was unbelievable, right? And she said, "Go back all the way to ticket." And the ticket office for me is literally the adjacent side of the stadium.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. And I was going to Freddie. I said, "I'm going to go home." I said, "I'm going home. We're going to get hammered here anyway. I'm going home."
Oh, you'd have made a massive mistake, wouldn't you?
No, I'm glad I did. That's what I'm saying to you. I'm glad I did that. But you know, yeah, it was worthwhile in the end. But I'm still in a bit of agony, so I do apologise. And if anyone wants to carry on, Irish Tommy, I didn't know he had internet over there, but he's getting involved now.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
No, so look, it was a great day in the end, but I've been a bit wounded recently.
Yeah, I mean, look, the football must have made it a little bit better for you.
Yeah, it was. No, it was.
I'm jealous, mate. I wish I'd been there for that.
Well, this is what you got to do. You got look like me and Gary. You have to go. We know we're going to get beat most games this season, but we have to go.
I had a chance to get a ticket, and because Dodsey sorted me out one, but we had a game that was rescheduled. It was a Stevenage. I probably could have just made it, but it was a late one up in Stevenage. So
hang on a minute. Hang on. What time was the kickoff at your late one up in Stevenage?
5.
5?
Yeah.
Oh, that is a late one. Fucking hell.
Yeah. No, I know.
Well, Freddie kicked off at 1 o'clock in Wolverhampton, and I still managed to get there for kickoff.
Yeah. Oh, bloody hell. Yeah. No. I should have gone for it.
You wouldn't have got there from Stevenage. It took you longer from Stevenage.
No. I know. It's just one of those, though, isn't it? It's one of those. I just wish I'd been there. It looked like a brilliant. I mean, the atmosphere looked amazing over there. It really did. It looked great.
It was good. It was really good.
How about yourself, Gal? You did your usual. Went over to Beer Merchant's Tap, didn't you?
I did that, yeah. I did that, but I'm trying not to drink as much as possible because I did drink a bit too much on Friday night. So I went over there for a Diet Coke with Chris Miles and Ross, and it was good actually. Thing is, I found yesterday really depressing all the way up to the football. I was sure, like John, I was sure we are going to get beat. Sure, we're going to get beat. And all day it was bothering me. All day it was playing on my mind. So I was miserable on the way to football. I was miserable in the BMT. I was miserable in the walk on the way there. And it was only when the team started playing, I mean, just the intent we showed, it perked me right up again. And by the end, I'll tell you, I was elated. I mean, it's amazing what football can do for your state of mind. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I had the same thing. I said that to you. I mean, like you all know, I've had a bit of a bad year. You know, it's been tough, and sometimes, I don't know. You forget what football can do for you, and it did. It lifted my mood unbelievably. It was fucking brilliant. I was absolutely buzzing last night, buzzing this morning as well. Until we got into WhatsApp and fucking Twitter and stuff like that, and then it just starts to bring your mood down again. But I'm all right. I've come back up again now. I'm good.
What's happening on Twitter now?
Oh, it's just fucking idiots on there, isn't it? It's just.
You're not getting drawn in by the Moyes in people again.
I promise I weren't going to. I promised I weren't going to, but it does get you down, mate. Honestly,
it happens to me every time as well, John. I've got to admit, every time I see it,
fucking morons.
Honestly. Yeah. I don't know. We shouldn't really. You're right. We shouldn't really get triggered by it. But I do get triggered every time, especially when I read Sully was right.
But you do know if we win the European Cup, he will get another deal.
John, fuck off.
Of course he will. Yeah,
I can't think like that.
Listen, I've already faced up to that. I know he's coming, but if that happens, I won't change my stance. It'll still be Moyes out for me.
Look, it's fine. We'll just have to spend all fucking next season moaning about him even more while he shits next season, because that's what we'll have. That's what we'll have.
The thing is, for me, I'm a little bit different to you, Nick, probably, and maybe you as well, Gary, in so much as you're going to disagree with me, right? But this is how I see it. This is the way I'd want it to end, rather than the opposite.
Now.
No. This is what I'm saying. No, this is what I'm saying. People are going to laugh, I know, and probably like Hammer89 in the chat's going to roast me for it, right?
Yeah.
But there's no doubt what Moyes did for us in that short time was brilliant, right? And the reason I didn't want it to finish on a damp squid is because he'll ruin his legacy. What legacy? I know what you mean, but that's the only word I can think of at the minute, right?
Yeah.
So for me, staying up and winning that cup, and then him still going in the summer is best case scenario. Not just for the club, but for him, move on.
You're saying out of affection for David Moyes, something of which I have none of now.
Not affection.
It's gone. The guy talks to us and treats us with utter contempt. I mean, the first thing he said in his post-match interview was the same thing again. He had a smug grin on his face. He went, I'd just like not give credit to the fans. I'd like to give credit to the board for sticking with me and ignoring all the noise. You just like, mate, you can't help but bait the fans, can you? He treats us with utter contempt. He's an extension of Sullivan. If you support Moyes, you support Sullivan, as far as I'm concerned.
Bullshit. Fuck off.
It's true. Honestly,
I support Sullivan.
You don't support Moyes. You don't support Moyes.
Am I supporting Moyes? What are you on about?
I just said you don't support Moyes, so I'm not talking about you.
Right, okay.
I said if you support to that extent now, up to this point, you support David Moyes to that extent, to the point where you're going to start hounding people that are Moyes out to that extent. Then I'm sorry, you're a fucking.
It's like I was listening to.
You're a Sullivan sock filler. That's what you are.
I was listening to that Jim White talking to Martin Keown and Simon Jordan on a little clip on TalkSport earlier. And literally, he drove that narrative. And basically said the fans were so happy last night. I think they're reconsidering David Moyes' future. It's one win. He's just about kept us up, just about kept us our heads above water. That is nothing to celebrate. Last night was something to celebrate.
He's not getting a pat on the back for this from me.
Hang on, no. Last night was something to celebrate. In its, on its own as a football match, we were brilliant. We played really well. So we celebrate that and we say, well done, Dave, and everything else. But that's just one game of many. That was the best game by a long way this season. And even when you look at the games that we've won quite easily, like Forest, one or two others as well, they were still shit performances, right?
Yeah.
That yesterday was just so much better than anything we've seen.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant, and it was an anti-Moyes. What I mean is that he prides himself on his low press. That's what everyone says is counter-attack, low press. What we saw in that game was we had a low, mid, high press. Every single player on that pitch was pressing. Every single player had freedom of expression. They was moving around, changing positions. They was all over the place. That was, I'm telling you, I am convinced. I can't wait for a few years for this to all come out in the wash, like with Anton Ferdinand and Kirbishley, where he spilled the beans on that one. I can guarantee you the same things happened here. Declan Rice owned that football pitch yesterday.
He did.
100%. 100%. And you know what? That's another thing that's pissed me off about Declan Rice's performance. This is what I don't get about some West Ham fans or football fans in general, right? I've seen people say Declan Rice was brilliant. Oh, yeah, he was. But why do you think? Because he wants to move to Man United. I mean, how illogical are people? How illogical?
But they're deluded. I mean, I'm not being funny. If he was going to move somewhere, John, he wouldn't be going to Man United now. I think he's too good for Man U. If he's going to move on, he could take his pick. He could have his pick of clubs. He can go anywhere.
That's not my point. Listen, that's not my point. My point is that people always look for excuses to not praise when praise is given or should be given, and that's what.
Well, they're saying it's a shop window game. That's what you're saying.
Basically, yeah. I mean, come on, for fuck's sake. But I disagree with because that just reminded me of West Ham that reminded me of West Ham 18 months ago.
Yeah. No, I know. But Lucas, thank you very much. You're always very generous.
Thanks, Lucas.
Cheers, mate.
Can he not give it in dollars though? Because there's a big exchange rate thing, isn't there?
That is dollars. Can he not give it in dollars? Yeah. But yeah, no, I thought it was tremendous yesterday. I mean, like I say, I've been through it all. I mean, should we touch on the goal? You know, the David De Gea. I mean, he loves us, doesn't he? De Gea. He's done that for us a few times. But I said on the show yesterday, I think if my 14-year-old keeper for my team, I think if he'd have let that one in, I'd have probably had something to say. I know he slipped, but he got a full hand to that. And it was. I'm not even having a go at Ben Rama because I don't think Ben Rama had much other option. No, it was a shit shot, but he had 3 players in front of him. He had no other options. He just got a shot. He got a shot away. Better to shoot than not shoot. But it was a P roller, and for him to let that in, what a fucking plum.
It was a P roller, but he got the shot away early, right? The keeper should have saved it, but he got the shot away early. That seemed to completely fuck up De Gea, right? And then the extreme topspin he applied to the ball made it spin over his glove. Did you see it?
Yeah. The extreme topspin. I know. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, with De Gea, because I think that's kind of what happened with us. I think that's one of the reasons why I think De Gea gave us confidence because he's passing out. We was pressing him high because the guy kept on messing up. I mean, the amount of times that Declan Rice picked their pockets high up the field, didn't he? He was hovering around sort of 30 yards outside their goal. And the amazing thing with Rice is, and we watched it back again, and we done Rice watch, Declan Rice watch. If you do that, it's insane. He knows what the opposition are going to do before they've done it.
He was so good. You're right. He absolutely he popped up everywhere, and he was driving the team forward. He was doing everything right. Didn't put a foot wrong. And that midfield three of him, Paquetá, and Souček is starting to look like the real deal now, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I mean, look, do you know what? I'm going to give Souček some credit today as well. Something I never do. And I will say, I think what they've done is Souček now, as he's finding his form again, he's getting into the box a little bit more. I mean, he almost scored a lovely volley that Paquetá chipped to him before the goal that he scored that got disallowed. But not just that. They seem to they've got good balance and understanding now. So Paquetá and Rice do what they do, but Souček does seem to complement that now. In the last game, anyway, you know, going on that one, he didn't put a foot wrong. His interceptions was good. He was good in the air. I just think it was good balance. I think he did well.
Yeah, and I think also what you're seeing in some of the games recently is you are seeing, you know, we spoke about it before, and it pisses me off when pundits go, "What more has Rice got to his game?" But you're starting to see now he seems to have a bit more confidence in what's around him. Maybe he's more confident that Paquetá's found his feet in the position, and you're seeing Rice pushing forward more and getting on the ball more and being more proactive. But Nick, the biggest thing about Rice. It's the very, very basics of football, mate. What you teach your kids, and I'm sure Freddie does. Yeah. Just check your shoulders. He's forever checking his shoulders, like the most over-exaggerated amount of checking your shoulders you'll ever see. And that's why he knows where everyone is on the pitch. It's like chess pieces. He knows where everything is, you know?
He builds a mental map of where people are on the pitch. It's kind of what he does.
I think also he's grown into the captain's role, right? He started off, he was pretty shoddy, wasn't he? But this has been a hell of a challenge. Turning this team around has been a hell of a challenge, and it has taken great leadership on the pitch as well, right?
He's grown into a magnificent captain.
He really has. He really has started. He probably feels comfortable in the role now after being through a really, really shaky period. He probably feels confident in doing the job. And I doubt he felt that way at the start.
I've never really questioned his captaincy. I've never really.
No, you've always stuck with him.
I've always stuck with him because I think people are very easy to not used to particularly, but I'm just saying, you know, I know he was throwing his arms about on occasions and things like that. But that just comes from pure frustration, you know. I mean, it's not he's not singling players out, and yes, he shouldn't be doing it, I suppose, but it just.
He did the same yesterday because as good as Benny was yesterday, he was also frustrated in equal measure. And there was a couple of times where Benny didn't do the obvious thing. There was one thing that I remember where Cresswell's busted an absolute fucking gut to get down the left wing and overlap him. The right thing to do was to slip Cresswell in. He didn't. He checked inside, held onto the ball, lost it. Everyone was throwing their arms up at him there. Cresswell was, Rice was. They were saying to him, and there's nothing wrong with that. They were saying, Benny, for fuck's sake,
just
make the right decision.
Just quickly, Samir David M. Like as Gary said, you know, Gary did back up Benrahma. He said, "Look, he took the shot early." So we're not having a go at him. We're just saying it wasn't the best shot in the world. But yes, you're right. He did get it away early and obviously caught the gate off.
Yeah, and also a special mention for Benny because look, he wasn't. I wouldn't have him in the top few players on the pitch yesterday. He definitely wasn't the man of the match. There were plenty of other candidates for that. No. But I'll tell you what, Benny had a really, really good game compared to what he's had recently. And I know he flatters to deceive, and sometimes the final ball's terrible. More often than not, the final ball wasn't always terrible yesterday.
No, it wasn't.
He defended really well. I don't know if you remember, John, but very early in the game, he leapt like a salmon and won a header at the back, a defensive header. He had no right to win.
When's that ever happened before?
Exactly. He really put the effort in.
And what I will say is some of his interplay. Look, he's a player that likes to be on the ball. He is. Yeah. He likes to be on the ball. Sometimes he holds it for too long. Sometimes he makes the wrong decision. Sometimes he does magical things. He does. We saw a lot of that. Like we've said about Benrahma at the start of the season, he was probably our best attacker, wasn't he?
Yeah, 100%.
But his form did drop off massively. You know.
What do you think of this here from Dougie Montana? Do you think Paqueta goes for the killer ball too often? 80% of them loses possession. No.
Honestly, Dougie, I'm not being funny. There is a clip on Twitter. Search for it, right? And that is every single thing that Paqueta did in the game yesterday. It's about 5 minutes long. And it's just everything from his touch, from his control, from his through ball. He is out fucking standing. He's slide rule passes, the way he can just. There's no backlift with his pass. He just fires it. He fires them.
Well, the one he played into Benny, which was a first time shot, a good shot from Benny, right? Perfect ball, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Do you know what the best thing he did was yesterday?
Go on.
Did you see that goal kick from Fabianski? And he kicked out from his own area all the way to the halfway line, and Paqueta brought it down on his chest.
It was unbelievable.
Like I've never seen someone bring a ball down on their chest because that was a long ass ball.
Was that the one where he took it and he left Ericsson in his wake?
Yeah, it was just unbelievable.
It was ridiculous, wasn't it?
Even during, I've seen it back, but even during the game, I thought it was class. But obviously, sometimes in the ground, you can lose perspective a little bit. But I've seen it back since, and I was just like, "Wow, that was unbelievable."
I do think we've got because he's only going to get better. I mean, bearing in mind he's adjusting all the time, he's improving all the time. Yeah. He's going to have the odd off game. He will do because look, he's a player that tries things, and like Benny, you know, he's going to have games where it don't come off. Sometimes he's going to be frustrating. But he is a creator. He's a craftsman. That's what he is. He's a fucking genius, and I love how casual he looks about everything. You know, it doesn't seem like anything's rushed, does it?
No.
It don't. No. Everything's, you know, he's brilliant. But it was such a mixed bag. Like I say, if you watch those clips, I didn't realise quite how much he was involved. He was involved in everything. Everything.
Yeah, massive. You know?
Unbelievable.
He was, and he's so dangerous. When we've got our tails up and we're pushing forward, he's so dangerous. He ties everything together.
Yeah, I agree. What do you reckon he's worth now? I think his value's gone up after just recently.
Well, I think what you need is, you know, he's just delivered probably 10 good games for us, right? And he's got better, progressively better in each game. If he carries on with his progress, halfway through next season, you know, if we have a good season, halfway through next season, he's going to be worth more than we paid for him.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a good comment, that was, John, that you put up there about the kid. Did you see that, the clip on Twitter?
Beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah, where the kid was crying.
Yeah, and he's walked up. He's looking at his phone, yeah, he's just gone over to him, giving him a cuddle, spoke to him like a person. Bearing in mind, we've been seeing nothing but clips recently from clubs like Arsenal and I think it was Leeds as well, where they've been just ignoring kids. People,
I'm going to say something that's not going to be popular.
You're going to say it was staged, aren't you?
Staged.
No, I'm not saying it was staged, but the thing. I'm sorry.
It does make you think.
No. Listen,
I know.
I don't care if it was staged or not, but this is what made me laugh. The kid was uncontrollably crying, but still managed to say,
"Can I have your
shirt?"
He's from East London. He's an East Londoner. You never miss an opportunity.
Bit of a blag.
Yeah,
it was genius.
Yeah.
He's like that. Like, he couldn't even stand up at one point. But he went, "Can I have your shirt?"
What's the matter? I don't know. Can I have your shirt?
Sorry, I know that's not going to be popular, but it just made me laugh because I thought you cheeky little scrote.
I know, but no, it was lovely, and it went on further than that as well because there was an exchange on social media, whether it was Instagram or Twitter, I don't know what it was, but the guy reached out and he tagged Declan Rice in, saying, "Is there any way I can get? Thank you very much, Dec. Is there any way I can get this shirt signed because I didn't have a pen when you gave it to me, boy?" And he came straight back to him. He went, "He said it'd be a pleasure." He said, "Seeing your boy made my night." He came straight back to him.
Oh,
yeah,
brilliant.
I don't think I'm the only cynical one in the gang.
The shirt is
now on eBay. No, it will be once he signs it.
Yeah, puppy dog eyes. I know. It's still a nice touch, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lovely touch. Yeah,
nice touch.
It is good, right?
59 minutes. What is it? 59 minutes gone. 3-2 to Forest.
It's a good game. Yeah, 3-2 Forest. They went 2-0 up, then 2-1, 3-1. Now it's 3-2. Yeah,
I'll tell you what. Which of you could see that win coming at Everton? It's just as well we did get that win yesterday.
I couldn't see five.
This is the Premier League, mate. All over. This is why the points total so low this year because everyone's beating everyone. There's no rhyme nor reason for it, is there?
I mean, if I was a neutral, I actually called a West Ham win when I done the Friday night show with Tommy. I called a win. I don't know whether I believed it, but I called a win. But if I was a neutral, I would never have gone West Ham to beat Man United. I would never have gone. I think I would have gone Leicester to have beaten an on the beach Fulham without their striker. They didn't. They kind of got battered, didn't they? Was it 5-3?
Wasn't it?
Well, both sides were poor in that one. I watched it.
Yeah, and then I would never have gone for that with with Brighton and Everton.
I don't know if you can say. I think West Ham, Man United. I think us against Man United at home, especially, is always a winnable game.
Yeah, you wouldn't. I don't think you. Yeah,
we always perform against them. I called a draw. I was saying 1-1, and I'd be happy.
That's what I would have gone for. That's what I would have gone for. I wouldn't have predicted a win. Yeah.
But after Palace, you can understand. I weren't expecting a win. I'm just sorting out these match ratings.
It was just mad, that Everton game, because what happened was I was watching that one as well. I watched them all today because I weren't feeling well, and 30 seconds in, Everton just hit them on a counter attack. It was just a complete, they lost all their discipline. Brighton, for some reason, and that's very unlike them.
Yeah.
It was that Lewis Dunk. He made a balls up, didn't he? And then they scored a second one, and so it was 2-0. And then they scored a third one off the keeper's knee. It was like a sort of own goal. So it's 3-0 at half
Jason
time.
Steele own goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, 3-0 at half time. They brought on Solly March in the second half and one other player, and Brighton absolutely dominated for 20 minutes, half an hour. But they could not find a way through. And then
I thought Brighton kept giving the ball away cheap as well.
Yeah,
personally.
Yeah.
Who was the remind me who the subs were yesterday? How many subs?
Johnson, Downs,
Fornals.
Emerson? Did Emerson come on?
Emerson came on.
Emerson come on the last second, didn't he?
Yeah. Emerson came on. So it just says 4, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Johnson, Emerson, Downs, and Fornals.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool.
90 minutes and 10 minutes of Fergie time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you knew that was going to happen with that Soucek incident, wasn't it? It was just
clash of heads when it was quite a nasty one, wasn't it?
How about what though? Listen, we've slagged him off this season, but the first thing he did when he got up was ask for a new shirt because he was covered in blood. He just literally changed and was waving to come back on. When he wears a headband, he seems to just make my heart feel proud.
Well, the next thing he did after that was head the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
mate, the geezer's, listen, we know he's fucking mad. Crap, but my God, he's got a heart of a fucking lion.
He does, yeah. I was delighted for him.
Irish Tommy's got a bit of a snip here. Rice will still go in the summer, but I do believe he loves West Ham, and it will be heart-wrenching for him.
I'll be honest, after what I've seen now, I know I've said in the past, I've said, once players leave, and I was very hard line on it. I've got to be honest.
Gary says this all the time.
But with the way that he's finishing now, do you know what? Wherever he goes now, providing it ain't Tottenham, I hope he wins a lot.
Even I've had a 180 on him, John.
Oh, you will come into my way.
Yeah, I mean, look, I obviously want him to lose when he plays against West Ham, if he plays against West Ham. But other than that, good luck to him. I think he's been a real credit to his profession this year, and yeah, nobody could have put in more this season in a really atrocious season than he has. And we would be in the bottom 3 without him.
Oh yeah.
We wouldn't have had the last 2-3 seasons without him.
No.
Not a chance.
Keefe Dream. So obviously, if Southampton lose this, they're 8 points from safety with 3 games left. So Keefe Dream says, let's get James Ward-Prowse signed up ASAP. Captain, free kicks and penalties covered, and he's English.
I'd also take the left winger from Leicester, Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, but he's on a free transfer. There's going to be so many clubs after him.
But the top 6 won't be in for him, will they?
Mate, I don't know, because I think someone like Arsenal will take him for free, or Spurs, or someone Spurs might take him for free. Yeah. I can't. I'd love to get him. I think he's a fantastic player.
I think that side of the pitch. I mean, don't get me wrong. I thought Cresswell had a really good game yesterday, and I do like Emerson. But I think next season, if we say, for instance, look, we activate we keep him for 1 more year, right? So let's just pretend he's staying, yeah, and we can keep Paqueta and Rice next season. That is an amazing, and you got Aguirre, Carers. Look, he's fashed 3 games in a fucking row now, John. He looks amazing.
He did look.
He's been brilliant,
give him a lap dance, Nick.
John. He's been brilliant, mate. He has been.
Right, I think his time, isn't he?
He has been. I think he looks good. But that left hand side, and I'm sorry, Samir. I think if we can get a world class left attacking creator. And a world class left back. If we can sort that left hand side out, I think we'll be amazing.
Because really we're so right hand side focused at the moment, and
we are.
You know, we have been for a while, haven't we?
Yeah,
a long time.
Especially when Fornells plays. When Benny plays, he does at least try to get forward. But he's just not a brilliant left winger. It's not his fault. He ain't really a left winger, is he? He doesn't.
No. Well, did you we've got like Spursy, yeah. And then, like when Arsenal have bottled it, they're called RC. Yeah. How about Millwall today? See what happened with them?
I didn't see what happened, but they've screwed it up.
Terrible. Oh, it was so unfortunate.
They were 3-1 up at half time to get a playoff position. End up losing 4-3 in the second half. Right?
It's a shame, isn't it?
You know the funniest thing?
Go on.
The Blackburn fans were singing Bubbles.
Oh,
brilliant!
Tragic, isn't it?
Brilliant,
tragic.
That's amazing.
Well, the beautiful thing was Sunderland, who I really like. I've got fond memories of going up there. Sunderland, they got into the playoffs. They crept into the playoffs, and as much as our Geordie mates dislike Sunderland, I'm sure they'd like to see their rivals back in the top flight. I'm sure they would.
Yeah, of course.
I'll tell you, and we spoke about this when Nigel was on, didn't we? About Millwall, because they was looking like they was kind of, well, not favourites to go up, but it looked like it was quite likely they'd be in the mix. And I've got to be honest, I think that would just be a disaster in Stratford. I think Millwall, West Ham.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how you'd police it. I don't know how you police it. You wouldn't be taking your kids to that game. Put it that way.
No,
no way.
Because I got the train to West Ham yesterday, which I haven't done since the first season we went over there.
Yeah.
I walked through the shopping centre, and I can't believe the amount of ordinary people that are just shopping whilst there's thousands of fans. It's just a strange mix. I couldn't get over it. It's the first time I've done it for 5 years or whatever. I don't know. I just don't. Garino thinks you've forgotten Cornet on the left, guys.
Well, yeah, but I don't. I mean, Cornet is not even getting a look in at the moment. He's getting very little game time. So does that mean he hasn't recovered from his injury, or that Moyes doesn't rate him, or again? Would you describe him as a top-class left winger? I wouldn't.
No, definitely not. I mean, look,
a squad filler.
I do feel sorry for him. I don't think he's been given anywhere near enough chances. But
he has been injured a bit, Nick, isn't he? I mean, you can't give him a chance if he's not fit.
But we'll have Europe again next year, hopefully. When we win the Conference League, we'll have Europe again next year. So we'll still need a squad, right? And he's kind of squad filler.
What do we think about the sickness bug? Because obviously the sickness bug was bollocks, wasn't it? That was just
nonsense.
The rest of the players, wasn't it?
That was, he had to say that, otherwise Arsenal would go, this is unprofessional. You know what I mean?
They wouldn't moan, would they?
Of course they fucking
Oh, it's very
They
unlike
want to
very
blame
unlike
everyone
them to
else's
moan.
for their failures,
Yeah.
don't they?
Right. Well, look. Before we go into the player ratings, Gary, I'll leave this with you. What did you think about the? You and John have a little chat. I'll blow my top about it. The VAR decision before half time.
Well, I mean, it was absolutely disgusting. I've seen it back on telly now. Every single pundit, apart from Jermaine Jenas, like you said last night, had a fun. Where's he come? Where's he get off that bloke? He's just trying to be a contrarian, isn't he?
He just baiting us. He was baiting us.
Even
That's all he was
Rio,
doing.
even Rio, who's Man United biased. Everybody, the match of the day pundits this morning both said, yeah, Alan Shearer and Ian Wright weren't even on match of the day, but I watched another stream where they discussed it. They were outraged. Dermot Gallagher, the referees, whoever, said it was the wrong decision. There is no doubt it was the wrong decision. The same as everyone agreed on the Liverpool decision that we didn't get, right?
Yeah.
And
the same as everyone agreed on the Soucek handball, what he did against Chelsea. So we're not being biased, we're being honest.
That's right. And then you're talking Palace. Eze literally dived, right? He dived. It was a terrible decision. A terrible decision. So that's 3, right?
Yeah.
So there's Liverpool, and then there's Arsenal, where we conceded a penalty to an Antonio handball. He wasn't even looking at the ball. If that's a penalty, for Christ's sake, Harry, that wasn't a penalty. So that's 4 decisions. Arsenal, Liverpool, yesterday, and Palace.
I'm willing
4 decisions.
I'm willing to accept that the Palace one was negligence because it's Palace, but when you get these ones against the top 6, the blatant ones like that, because they were fucking blatant, the handballs.
It's fair to say it's corruption, right? It's fair to say.
The rationale for the decision to not give it yesterday was this. They always say, is the arm or the hand in an unnatural position, right? But what they said yesterday was that because his arm stayed in line with his body, even though he angled his body with his arm attached towards the ball, so your body. So this is the point I'm saying. Your body can be in an unnatural position on purpose, but as long as your hand's by your body, it doesn't matter.
So could you catch the ball? So can I say something? If you was to do that, could you catch the ball?
Well,
hang on.
His arms were by his sides.
Dermot Gallagher, John. Dermot Gallagher said that he thought that was their thinking, right? He said, but when you look at it over and over again, the arm is in an unnatural position. It gets further away from the body every time you look at it.
But it's I know what you're saying, but it's almost because he bent his body over at the same time, they sort of took it as it was natural. But I'm like, but what are you on about? Like, I don't get it.
They're trying to find something.
He bent his whole body towards the ball.
Listen, the acid test is right. If that was down the other end, is that a penalty?
Yes,
100%.
You know,
all day long.
You know it is. And also as well, and I'm not being funny. I think there was a conversation for a red card on there was a couple of challenges. There was one from Malacia on Bowen, the one that went right down the back of his ankle. Yeah. But the one where Antonio's burst through on goal, nobody was catching him.
No.
I know he had Lindelof just over there. Lindelof weren't catching Antonio.
The defender had not come round. The defender had not come round. He didn't have that spare defender in front of him, did he?
No. I agree.
And Antonio yesterday looked like he did against Arsenal. He had those extra 3 yards of pace. He looked fucking quick yesterday. Yeah. He looked really quick.
You know, the thing that baffled me about that was it wasn't even spoken about on Match of the Day or anywhere. It wasn't even highlighted.
Match of the Day made it look like an even game. It wasn't. We dominated.
Man United, they made it look like Man United were on top and we had a breakaway, and that was it.
I know. They had 3 early chances in the first half, didn't they? Half chances in the first half, right? Probably Fernandes was the best of those chances. Other than that, it was 2 long-range efforts. Now, after that, we shut the door on that little avenue of pleasure that they were getting over Cresswell's side. Yeah. It didn't happen again in the whole game.
We was restricting them to sort of long-range shots.
That's all it was. I agree. It was all long-range shots.
We was restricting them to long-range shots, and
it's not just the VAR.
They had a lot of them, but
it's not just the VAR. You know what the fuck did they disallow that first goal for? That Antonio goal. I mean, the keeper.
That's the other
that
thing.
Was bad goalkeeping. It was
bad goalkeeping. It was bad goalkeeping.
Antonio's goal.
The first disallowed one. If you watch that back, right, that was
when he jumped from the throw. Yeah.
So Kera's thrown the ball in, and obviously De Gea's come out really weak. No intent at all. I mean, I don't know whether you saw Pickford just now. He almost fucking knocked out a player to get out of the way of the ball. That's what you want. Your keeper's got to be aggressive. No aggression at all from De Gea. And to be honest, Antonio was shoved into De Gea anyway. He ain't like he kind of, do you know what I mean? And his arm only brushed him, and he went down holding his jaw, didn't he? Cheating fucker.
And then the other one,
4-2 Forest, 4-2 Forest.
Sorry. The bullet header from Souček from the Paqueta cross, that was clearly offside, only just though. It was clearly offside.
What can we have a talk about that though? What a move and what a goal. What a header.
Yeah.
What a header.
It's got bad memories for me though, Nick, because the Russ from the Hawaiian Hammers was standing behind me, and he was dancing with his family when that ball hit the back of the net. They were having they were cuddling, they were dancing. I had to break the news; it had been disallowed.
Nick, is the avenue of pleasure, is that the same as the corridor of uncertainty?
The avenue of pleasure, I think it might be. Yes.
Just talking about one of you've got the wrong chat, mate. I think you're in the wrong chat, Nick.
Yeah.
You think it's your other YouTube channel, don't you?
Yes. The avenue of pleasure is going to be the avenue that
Knight,
David Moyes, the avenue that David Moyes drives up when he's leaving West Ham. That's right, the avenue of pleasure.
That's right,
Can't we even get a win out of the way without you saying about David Moyes?
No, we can't.
Someone told me you were smiling on yesterday's review.
Oh, mate, I was very happy. I was incredible, mate. Honestly, I was genuinely, like I said to you, you know I have. It's been a tough year, right? I wouldn't say it ain't been bad. It's been tough and it's been stressful. Yeah. And I had a stressful day yesterday as well. And that for me, honestly, I was genuinely fucking elated. It was an amazing feeling, and I felt the same this morning as well. But yeah, it was good. Right, let's get these player ratings done anyway.
Player ratings.
Right, what I'll do, I don't know how you're going to do it, people, but I'm going to leave it to you to pick your man in the match. But I'll put a poll up once we've got through the player ratings.
No. We give our ratings out, and then the top rated players go in the poll. That's always. Don't give these muppets in the chat too much power. That's your problem.
I've added a referee to the through. I've had a lot of people saying you've got to add a referee. So Peter Wanks is on the screen.
Dodgy watched your review. He said you wasn't smiling. You was just had a bit of wind.
Dudley. Oh, he's asked if you can do a little impression of him, John.
Fucking hell, you see that? You should watch the Man U YouTube channel. That made it look like we stole the win.
Mate, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. Did you watch it back? I was trolling on there. I
watched the best bits of that Goldbridge's thing. It was hilarious.
It is, yeah.
Well, you trolled the Man U channel.
I did, yeah. I really got carried away yesterday. Yeah.
You need to get out a bit.
I know. Okay, right. Let's remove the comments for a minute. Hang on.
Who done that? Hang on.
That's Gary. Right. Okay. Right. Fabianski. We'll go with Gary.
Well, look, he made a couple of really, really good saves in the second half. I thought he was good all the way through. His distribution was even good. Everything he did was good. I couldn't really find much of a weakness with him yesterday. I'll give him an 8.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think he was. I think look, he made a couple of really important saves as well, and
he did towards the end of the game.
Look, going back to the game, right? Because just one second, just quickly, one sort of closing thought on the game. What I loved so much about that game was that not at one point did we slam the brakes on, even when they were kind of we could have conceded right at the end with Martial. We got ahead of. He got ahead, but I thought we were more likely to score. We were so brave, and I've said this the whole way through the season. With stuff like this, I do think sometimes fortune does favour the brave. We were brave in that game, and I think we got our just rewards. We were the better team. We were the better team on the night. It's as simple as that. It was brilliant.
Chris Harris is getting carried away. Chris Harris is getting fucking carried away in that chat again. Look at him.
What's he saying?
Virgil taking lessons from Moyes. It's the viewers that put you where you are. Where am I? I'm sitting in a fucking little box in the middle of these two. I ain't anywhere.
Right, John. I'll give you Cresswell, and then what I'll do is I'll go the other way, and I'll come back to you for Ogbonna because I know you want to talk about Ogbonna after. But
no. Let's get this right. You want to fucking have a little play with yourself over Kera.
He does.
I do. Yeah, I do.
He's really excited. He's really excited.
But come on.
I thought Cresswell did very, very, very well. For somebody who's got no legs anymore and can hardly run, I thought he was full of energy yesterday. He kept that spotty Connect 4 looking mug from Brazil who cost £80 million. He was shit. Absolutely shit, that bloke. Diabolical. What's his name? Ten Hag brought him from...
And Anthony, that's
it, sorry. He bought him from Holland with him, did he? He bought him from the team he used to manage. Yeah. And he paid 80 million for him. He must be on a bung or something because he is useless. And Cresswell, who couldn't run a bath as according to a lot of people, i.e. Razor, who's probably going to pop up in the chat in a minute. He kept him absolutely quiet. So for me, because 6 is average and he hasn't hardly been average a lot of times this season, this was an above average performance.
It was.
So I'm going to give him a nice 7.
It was. I think that's definitely worthwhile as well. I mean, talking about that, Anthony, we'll get onto that. Did you see when they played Brighton? Did you see the thing where he fronted up to Lewis Dunk and he bounced off of him? He ran up to him and sort of round his chest at him. Well, do you know what? I'm not going to mark him down, but I felt like marking Paqueta down for getting bodied off the fucking ball by him at the corner flag. I couldn't believe that because he's only about 3 foot tall, the bloke.
He's quite square though. He's quite broad. He's quite.
I know, but he must have caught him off balance though, because he's half the man. He's literally half the man.
I thought Cresswell was really good yesterday. I genuinely did. I know. Look, they was all good yesterday, but I still get a little bit concerned when I see Cresswell's name on the score and on the team sheet. We know Man United's thing is counter attack. Obviously, they've got pace in abundance when they counter attack well. Yeah, they're one of the best at it when they're on top of their game. But I thought he was very good yesterday. So
no, I do. Right, as you rightly said, John, I'm going to get on to Kehrer. Right, Tilo Kehrer. Okay, we was all impressed with him when he first came in. Then he tailed off, few mistakes, this, that, the other. He was being shuffled about from position to position. But you know what? He's come back. He came back against Arsenal. Absolutely faultless performance, brilliant. Same against City, he was fantastic. But that yesterday, so that's against the 3 best teams in the country, arguably that he played against. He was outstanding. That was fucking unbelievable. He had Rashford to deal with. In the end, Rashford was scared to run at him. He even changed wings at one point, Rashford, to get away from him. There was you could see him. He was getting in their heads when they were running at him. He was getting in a jockeying position, showing them on their weaker side, and he was mouthing at them. He was going, "Come on, go."
I think he was kind of getting in their heads as well, didn't he?
He was fucking brilliant. He was, and
how do you know what he was saying? He speaks German.
I could tell. I can talk German, can't I? And he was literally, but he was so hyped up for that game. I love the way he snaps into tackles. A lot of people call it rash. I call it decisive. He makes a decision and he fucking does it. He goes for it. He follows through. Yes, he'll make the odd mistake, as we've seen with Aguero and stuff like that. But a progressive player. He, playing playing. I don't know. He's got good technical ability. I love his delivery from free kicks as well. I like it when he gets forward. I think we've got a player there that can competently fill in at centre back. Excellent right back. Excellent right wing back. What a fucking signing, Tilo Kehrer. I'm giving him a 10. Fight me.
10?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I think his performance was pretty perfect yesterday. I have to say, perfect. I can't remember him putting it. And I think basically about 4 or 5 different Man United players had a try at getting past him, right?
Yeah,
over on that left hand side.
They did,
and nobody succeeded. The one thing that he kept doing when he first came into the team was he kept diving in and leaving a space behind him.
Yeah.
Right. And he doesn't seem to be doing that anymore. He's staying on his feet because he doesn't need to dive in. He's got the pace. He's got a fantastic pace.
It might be, Gal, like Paqueta's got used to the pace of the league and he's just timing his tackles better.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes. Yeah. But do you know what I love about his tackles, John? Do you know he does that horrible scissor challenge where he takes the ball, but he makes sure he takes the man as well?
Yeah,
I love that.
He took everything.
He takes everything.
Listen. Let me just say something, right? You've set a benchmark, because if you've given him 10,
mate,
if you've given him 10, there's going to be about 4 10s in this team.
Yeah, there might be, but what I'm saying is, tell me something Kehrer did wrong. That was literally a perfect performance for a right back, right wing back, wherever he played. He was fucking outstanding. He was. I'm sorry, perfect.
I mean, in the chat, people are going 8s and 9s. There's a couple of 10s, but
I've got it on. I've got it on the matrix. 10 is a perfect performance for me. That was a perfect performance for a right back.
Wow,
it was amazing.
Wow. Papa Firth says he's captain material.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But I called that when he first came into the team because I couldn't believe how vocal he was from the offset when he came in, and he started very well. So, yeah, I can see that maybe. But there's a few captains out there in a minute, I suppose.
Right, Gary, start talking about Aguero.
Aguero was back to his best again yesterday. So he fluctuates, doesn't he? He has a bad game. He has a great game. He had Salah in his pocket a few weeks ago. Yesterday, literally, his pace just helped us out so much, with him, and he was playing
him and Kehrer. Oh,
yeah, he was
on that side.
No, it's amazing because they're nobody's running past him, are they? Nobody's running past him, and he brings the ball out. He looks so comfortable with the ball at his feet, Aguerd. He's a Rolls Royce of a player when he's playing well. If he can get a bit of consistency to his game and stop having these bastard games, right? Stop having these. What's about, John?
Sorry, someone's just pulling you up on your pronunciation.
Who's Aguerd?
Who is Aguerd?
What is it, Aguerd?
Who cares?
Well,
What his
who
name
cares?
is? Fucking even Moyes don't call him by his proper name.
He calls him Nathan. Call him Nathan. Gary.
Nathan. Yeah. Well, look, if it, like Paquetá has now got some consistency to his game, right? If he can start doing that as well, Aguerd, I think we've got a player. We've praised him so many times, this guy, because he's looked like the real deal, and the next game he's looked shit.
Yeah.
Right. Just give us a bit of consistency, mate. Because if he produces these performances game after game after game, he's going to be one hell of a player.
Oh, I think he will, but I think he was just as important to Kehrer on that right hand side, because there was once early on where Rashford got a run. He had a foot race with Aguerd, and Aguerd he literally he kept it. Well, he didn't keep up with him. He pulled in front of him.
Yeah.
So I think Rashford knew, whoever was on that side knew, if they was going to have a go at Kehrer, who's trying to rip their ankles off, if they got past him, they got to get past Aguerd.
Gary looks like an online clairvoyant.
Fucking viewers here, I tell you, it pissed me right off.
It's because of your background.
Yeah, I know. No, what I need to do is I need to turn some lights on. There you go.
I think it's because of the. It's because
it's all the lights. It's all the candles.
It's like I was backlit. It's like I was backlit.
Right, on to the Ogfather, John.
Absolutely fucking superb. I mean, look, he turns 35 in May, right? And I've said this a couple of months ago. We know he's at a contract in the season, but why would you not give him another deal just to be like a player coach or a player that you rely on to bring on in cup games or whatever?
Yeah,
having him around the team and the squad, not to be mainstay centre back, of course not, but he's been written off more times than anyone I know. You know, I remember a few years ago, he was like fifth choice centre back. He is, for me, he is everything that is West Ham. He never gives up. He's 100%. We know what he hasn't got any more pace, but he's absolutely, look, as he says here, solid as a rock.
Yeah.
I know he's 35 in May, but someone like that is so important to that dressing room. So important for them defenders to learn from him. The new, Aguerd, Kehrer, they can learn so much from him. I'm telling you.
Johnny, he gives us what we don't have when Zuma's back there, and I love Zuma. Ogbonna does give us leadership.
Yes, exactly that. Look, that's a fantastic phrase for him. Look, the Ogfather. Yeah. I mean, I love the geezer. I just think he's an amazing. None of us thought he'd come back and play again after last year's injury. No. And they've got to give him another year, in my opinion. But I'd give him. I mean, obviously we're all rating our own ratings, aren't we? I was going to give him a 9, if I'm honest.
Yeah, no. But I think that's
my perspective. I was going to give him a 9.
He was tremendous. You go for whatever score you want, mate. On these
5-2, Forest 5-2 up.
Jesus Christ, Southampton shit.
Yeah, they're rubbish.
Okay, Gary Souček.
Souček, I thought, was incredible yesterday as part of that midfield three. I mean, this is Souček at his best, right? He even showed that he can play a little bit on the floor. He looks like he doesn't look like a foreign body in amongst Paquetá. Got to say his name right, and Rice. Yeah. He looks like he belongs now, right? And that is a massive advance to where he was a month ago. A month ago, he was just pissing people off, right?
Yeah,
he was just pissing people off, especially you, Nick. Especially, I'm sorry, my lights are pissing around today.
Yeah, but he's growing into the team again. I think he's getting a bit of understanding there. He's found his place in that midfield again, isn't he?
Confidence, and he's brave, like you said, brave as a lion. After that head injury, next thing he done was go and head the ball up the other end. One of the next things he did was score a disallowed goal. I mean, he does. I can't criticise the guy for his performance yesterday. I'm going to give him an 8.
Yeah. What can we just say? What a header! Such a shame that didn't go in.
Amazing.
No,
Amazing.
it didn't count. No, it was fucking. It was a bullet, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know the thing about him? Look, listen, we've all criticised Moyes for picking him when he's been off form, and I'll still stick by that. He should have been dropped a long time ago. But he stuck by him for whatever reason, call it what you want. But I'll tell you one thing about Souček, you can tell, is that he's absolutely loved in that dressing room by the players. They love his personality. They love his character.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing more than a player that everyone else loves. And I think he's one of them. They all seem to just genuinely really like him, you know, and it's good to see. It's good to see.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, at the end of the day, providing we've got what we had. If you look at that team now, right? You look at that team. The reason we was playing football yesterday is because the technical players do outweigh the cloggers. Ogbonna's technical, Aguer's technical, Cresswell's technical, Kehrer is, Rice is, Paqueta is, Benny is, Bowen is. Now you've got Souček and Antonio who are not technical, but that means is the balance of the team. We were packed full of technical players, so you can afford to have these players that give you something a little bit different.
I can't help but think genuinely that the rise of Paqueta in recent weeks
has probably
is
helped
one of
everyone.
the main reasons.
Helps everyone. Helps everyone.
It's helped. I think it's helped everybody.
Yeah.
Because there's no doubt. I mean, I know Palace was a little bit of a, you know, whatever, but in the main, in the last few weeks, Paqueta's performances has improved, and so has the team. It's almost like either he's pulled everyone else up around him, or everyone else has more confidence in him and maybe to be a bit more proactive or offensive. I don't know what it is. It just seems strange, you know. It just seems...
No, I agree. But anyway, Gary, John, go on to Rice, mate. Declan Rice.
Yeah, I don't know what else you can say about him, mate. Absolutely superb.
I'm going to stick the 10 there now.
Yeah, I don't need to say anything, mate. Just 10. All of the above. Look at anything I've said about him all season.
Yeah.
I'm glad people ain't giving him. I've seen people in the stands next to me this season give him wanker signs to his face when he's gone round clapping at the end of games. Yeah. I've heard people question everything about the guy over the course of the season. And I'm not saying I told you so. It's not about that for me.
Yeah.
But it's genuinely, come on, give the guy a bit of credit. We know he's 99% going to go in the summer, but I think he, more than anybody, wouldn't have wanted to go out on the negative of being relegated. So this means as much to him as any of us.
Was there another rendition of One More Year?
Yeah, they started singing it. You know what the funny thing was? I've got to say, it weren't funny. But when Souček was nearly dying on the floor, the West Ham fans by the away fans started singing Declan Rice 3 more years, 2 more, you know.
Yeah.
Souček's laying there nearly dying, and I'm thinking, have a bit of fucking courtesy.
Fuck you, Declan. He's going.
Look, unbelievable. We're seeing the best of him now. And listen, it pains me to say it, but when he goes to City, Arsenal, whoever, and he's got more confidence with who's around him, you'll see more goals from him, 100%.
I'm really pleased, though, as well. Another reason why it's good that he's, apart from keeping us up, another reason why it's good that his form is peaking up now is because the last thing we wanted to happen is for him to have a shitty season and us be forced to sell him on a cut price deal. At least now he's coming good at the right time. We're going to get the right price for him, right?
We're going to, if he goes, look, listen, I know he is likely that he's going to go. I still haven't given up on the fact that he might stay. I think if we finish strong enough, we get into Europe next year, Moyes goes, we keep the core of these players, we get the right manager in. With the football that we're playing now, that we're showing that we can play, he's the captain of West Ham. He's an ever-present for England. I still think there's a chance. I can't help it. Maybe I'm deluded, but I still think there's a chance. To me, he does give me the impression that he loves West Ham.
He does. Well, listen, there's always a chance. And he does genuinely love the club. He loves the fans. He knows that we love him, right? So there's always a chance, but I don't know.
And somebody repeated, some footballer on I think he was on Talksport, repeated what I said, and that is he's not going to be loved as much no matter where he goes. If he goes to Man City, he's just going to be one of the big stars, right?
Yeah.
If he goes to Arsenal, he's just going to be Jesus, right? He ain't going to be like, what's his name, the little right winger who came through their youth system. He's going to be. He's going to be. Saka. Sorry. Yeah. He ain't going to be Saka. They love Saka, right? He's just going to be another player they've bought in. They will like him, but they're not going to adore him. Not going to be obsessed by him like we are, because we are pretty obsessed.
He's worshipped at West Ham, and so he should be. Yeah. Right. Moving on to Lucas Paqueta, the conductor of that magnificent performance yesterday. He was just outstanding. I think, as John said, I think it's no coincidence that as we're seeing the rise of Paqueta, we're seeing the rise of West Ham as well. I think he's that type of player. Like when we had Payet, when Payet's playing well and he's doing his thing, everyone around him looks that much better. We were playing fucking one-touch tick-attacker with him.
Yeah, we were.
He does, he seems to do like the difference between the likes of Paqueta and Benny. Not that Paqueta never makes a mistake, but Paqueta holds onto the ball and runs with it at the right times. He's happy to play little one-touch passing. He seems to always, even if it doesn't come off, you'll struggle to see him make a bad decision, apart from the silly back pass that led to a goal a few weeks ago. Not the back pass, the pass that got cut out.
Yeah.
But Paqueta's decision making is outstanding. He's very intelligent. He's unbelievable. Everything about him. He is a Rolls Royce. I will say it again, but the geezer actually is. He's so smooth. He's so good. He
caresses the ball.
He's so good, and he's only going to get better. And I'm going to give him. Do you know what? I can't, because I think he's capable of more. For instance, when he got forward, he had a shot which he should have done better with, in my opinion, because I think he's capable. It was on his stronger foot. There was a couple of passes that went astray. So maybe I'm being harsh, but I'm going to give him a 9. I'm going to give him a 9.
I'm not saying he's anywhere near the class of these players yet, right? But he moves slowly, but his brain moves quickly. Yes. And I can compare him. I can compare him with Di Canio. I can compare him with Brookin. I can compare him with, to a point with Payet, aspects of their game where they weren't the quickest, but they're 2 moves ahead of everybody they're playing against or playing with.
Yeah. To me, he's starting to make everything look very, very, very easy. He caresses the ball. The ball's his friend, if you know what I mean.
The ball loves him.
I mean, as I said, that control with his chest from Fabianski's goal kick was absolutely superb, Yeah. I agree. If you're going to give, all I'd say though, if you're going to give Kehrer a 10, I know to give him a 9, that's questionable.
Yeah. No. I've done that based on a perfect performance. So Kehrer,
you've
Kehrer
done
did
that
everything
on your
perfectly.
loving of Kehrer.
No, mate, I love Paqueta's my favourite player now.
I think there's going to come a time. There's going to come a time when he adds goals to his game as well, right? And he's going to be he's going to be different class. He's going to get 10 goals a season, right?
1 sec.
Easy.
No worries. Right, in that case, Gary, you can go on Benrahma.
Benrahma, I already reviewed him earlier. I thought he had a fantastic game in comparison to what he's done recently. 100% effort. He was defending from the off. He won a header that he had no right to win, a defensive header early in the game yesterday. He was up and down that line, especially in the second half. He was so busy. He was so busy in the second half, and some of his deliveries were actually on point. So for that, I'm gonna probably mark him higher than I'm going to give him an 8. I'm going to give him an 8.
No, it was a good performance, and he scored the goal. I mean, that's
got to give him credit where it's
got
to give him credit where it's due, right? That was a massive improvement on his recent performances.
Yeah, it was absolutely. Right, hang on, what am I doing?
Goal of the season, usual suspect says. Yeah, it was.
I think he was good, but I think he was. Look, he was the least effective of our attacking players. I know he scored the goal. But I think I was more aware of his defensive duties yesterday, like you said earlier, Gal.
Yeah. Honestly, he was good, and what I liked was, even when he did do his usual, and he made a few sloppy passes, sloppy crosses, his head didn't drop at all. He just carried on going, which I think is really important.
What's he mean? John just lost a leg. What? I just dropped my phone. I keep fucking dropping my phone. It's driving me nuts.
Right. So, John, you can have. Bowen, I thought he was a bit of an unsung hero yesterday. I thought he was superb.
They kicked him up in the air, didn't they?
He was good. He run very hard. Yeah. He was persistent. He won a lot of free kicks. I got to be honest though. I still think sometimes he goes down quite easily looking for free kicks, which is quite annoying at times for me.
He does, yeah.
Right, and I'm not a fan of that. When you could stay up on your feet a bit more. I think he was better than Benrahma. But, and I can't. My score is based on me not scoring Benrahma an 8, if I'm honest. So I'd give Bowen an 8. I thought he was very good. Yeah. I don't think he was brilliant, but I thought he was very good. He was tenacious, great work ethic, never gave up.
He was important. He was really important.
Oh, of course, yesterday. He was all important yesterday. Every player on that pitch was important.
Yeah,
I think he was better than Benny, but not as good as Paqueta, Rice.
Right. I'm going to go for Antonio. Right,
Legend. Fucking legend.
I just think the guy is outstanding. I think he was running back at fullback sometimes. He was chasing back. I mean, his moment of the game where he got chopped down from Wan-Bissaka. He'd chased back, won the ball back, done a lovely turn, flipped. He's gone. And yeah, they had to do that. He was outstanding. He was beating Lindelof up. They did not know how to cope with him. He was going from left wing to right wing to central, where he was going deep. He was perpetual movement. He was fantastic. He led the line. Like Paqueta is important. This David Moyes system that he plays, if Antonio isn't functioning, this system doesn't function. You can't. It just doesn't. If you got nothing up front, you put Danny Ings up front yesterday. I'm not having a go at Danny Ings, but he's not that type of player. We'd have nothing there. He was so critical, so important. He beat shit out of Man United. He gave him no respect at all. He must be impossible to play against. I'm going to give him a 9.
He loves a fight, doesn't he? He loves a battle against the big boys.
He was outstanding.
I was speaking to a geezer next to me yesterday I've never met before, but just because I went in the Bobby Moore lower. And I said to him, and he agreed, Antonio, the last few, he looks fitter. He looks fitter now, all of a sudden. He has done, we would never see him lasting 80,
he ain't finished. He's not finished. He's got another season in him, at least, at the top level. At least.
I think he gets a lot of stick because of his lack of goals. But I was looking up earlier, and his goal ratio in the Premier League is better than Shevchenko was at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Also better than Fernando Torres' record when he was at Chelsea also.
Yeah, but it's everything else. It's everything else he brings to the game as well, though. He's so important.
Yeah, it is, and that's what people forget. Because he's a striker, they think it is all about goals.
Yeah.
And it is to some extent. But remember, the geezer started right back at Wealdstone United, right?
I know.
And it really fucks me off. But I'm glad people are starting to give him a bit of credit again there,
Emerson's a non-applicable. He came on quite late, didn't he, really?
I think all the subs were non-applicable, really.
Should we skip?
Yeah, I think Downs had the biggest contribution when he came on, didn't he? Yeah. He got involved in pushing. He ran it into the corner, didn't he?
And Fornell's dead. He was chasing things down as well. But it's not fair to score them. We'll leave those. We won't bother with them because they work.
This one from Paul Flower regarding Antonio never gets injured anymore. I think he's changed his diet. I believe he's become a vegan or vegetarian.
No. He's a semi-vegetarian, which means that basically what it means is that he doesn't just eat meat now; he eats veg as well.
But it's not only that. There's some kind of system that he's using where it's like a full body. He takes care of his whole body.
He must be, because he's a massive lump. For him to not be pulling muscles and pulling hamstrings now, he must be looking after himself.
Yeah, what I'm talking about is the fitness regime that he's got, the warm-ups, the warm-downs, everything is complete body rather than just focusing on. So you got to remember, he's a lot leaner and faster, actually, than he was once as well, because there was a time when he was starting to look really muscle-bound, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Especially after he'd been away on injured, he'd come back like he'd been working the weights.
Absolutely. Right. I've had a lot of requests for referees and VAR to be put on this scoring sheet now. So
what's his name?
We'll start with Peter Wanks. Peter Wanks on officiating yesterday.
Yeah.
So we'll start with John. What was your overall thoughts of Peter Wanks' performance yesterday?
Well, let's be honest, all referees and also linesmen. No, let's be honest, right? Now with VAR, what is the point of a referee and linesman anymore? They're just redundant because none of them want to make a proper decision. If they do, they're not culpable. They get told to go and look at the screen. I don't know what the point of it all anymore is. They're just bullshitters. And the thing is, VAR don't help the refs. The refs don't help VAR.
No.
I can take the handball from Lindelof. The referee didn't see it. We'd talk about it the next day. We'd excuse it, human error. Now there's 4 or 5 sets of eyes looking at it and they're still not giving it. I just think the whole PG, what's it called? PGMOL? Whatever.
Yeah. PG Mole, yeah.
PG Mole.
Mate, they're moles. Yeah, moles can't see shit either, can they?
Yeah.
So, I honestly, I don't see the point of them anymore. They're getting worse.
Well,
mate.
they're not making. I mean, the thing is, they're not making decisions, and when they are making decisions which are wrong, VAR are not helping them.
No,
nothing's working. Nothing's working. It's just fucking
It's some
shit.
sort of strange thing. I mean, it's all subjective anyway, right? There's no
Yeah.
hard and fast rules with this. And what they tend to do is the referee makes an on-field decision, and they have a look at it and see if they can see what the referee saw. And if
Yeah.
they can see what the referee saw, then they keep it. They stick with the decision, right?
Right,
Because I understand how he could give that. I can't, that definitely happened. But they don't look at it with their own fresh eyes and say, well, that's just a fucking dive, Eze. Or,
Yeah, exactly.
or that's just a fucking handball. The bloke who did it yesterday.
I mean, the Eze one was a good example because that one, as I say, that one was negligence. That one we can't say that's corruption. That we can't call that corruption. But do you all believe? Because I know we all got a bit of conspiracy. We've all got different opinions on lots of things. I can't help it. Do you think that when it comes to VAR checking certain things for certain teams, do you think the badge that the team is wearing makes a difference?
This VAR system was supposed to be brought in to take away what used to be biased referees, because we were all victims of biased referees. You remember that sending off? Someone got sent off for us at home to Man U. It was a 50-50 ball. They both slid in. Our player got sent off. Turned out in the replay, it was their player at fault, right? But because he rolled around holding his feet, holding his face, whoever it was, he basically got away, and we went on to lose the game as per usual, as you'd expect, right? And it's that sort of decision that was just hit us time and time and time again. And so some of us naively, like moving to the London Stadium, thought that this is being brought in for the wider good, right? For the broader good, and that they were going to start getting some decisions right. Now, strangely, when you watch like the World Cup we saw recently, they used VAR brilliantly, right?
Yeah.
And they tend to use VAR brilliantly in Europe as well. But when it comes to our Premier League, we've got, first of all, the worst referees. And those referees get to graduate or retire and then go and spend their life being bad referees in Stockley Park, right? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy that you're going to end up with. If you've got wankers on the pitch, you're going to have wankers.
Because we've got the most lucrative league in the world, it's probably likely we're going to have the most corruption as well.
Probably,
where there's money, there's corruption.
Listen, I don't think it's corrupt, right?
Oh, really?
I can't. You can't say that, and then you look at Thomas Souček's save against Chelsea, right? Let's be honest.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
That's all I'd say. I think the thing for me is it just highlights how.
So they're just shit. So they're just shit, is what you're saying.
That just levelled it out against Chelsea, though, John. Because earlier in the season, Cornet had a perfectly good goal disallowed.
Listen, Gal, I agree with you, but I agree with what you said a minute ago. You got shit referees on the pitch, which means you got shit referees in the fucking studio watching it. They're all as culpable as each other. If you got a bad ref on the pitch, that bad ref on the pitch will also be a bad ref when he's watching it back on the television replay in Stockley Park. This is the problem you've got. And they've said it many, many times before. Get ex-professionals to be refs. They're not going to do it.
No.
No. I just personally, I can accept an individual on the pitch making a mistake. But when that mistake is magnified and backed up by 3-4 sets of eyes, it makes that decision even worse. We've always had bad decisions. We talk about them on a Monday morning and they're forgotten by Tuesday. But now VAR has made everything a prolonged soap opera that goes on for fucking days and weeks and months. And it's just terrible.
And you need VAR specialists. You need VAR specialists, and they need to be independent from the set referees who are on the pitch. These are officials in their own right. Yeah, get them to have different lines of because at the moment they're looking after their mate on the pitch. The bloke on the pitch shouldn't be their mate.
Well, they're not, are they? They're not looking after their mate on the pitch.
Well, they are. They're doing everything they can to not undermine their mate on the pitch. Right?
Yeah,
that's what they're doing. Something radical needs to change, and the Premier League. I'm pretty sure the Premier League, in theory, right? Premier League want to see the Big Four, obviously, for TV viewers. They want to see the Big Four in Champions League places because it helps them with, it makes the Champions League a more attractive proposition, makes the Premier League more attractive proposition when the big teams win. Always does, right?
I've got to be honest. I do think it's bent as fuck. I mean, I'm going to. So, John, to go back to the Thiago handball, if that was at Anfield and it was in Liverpool's favour, is there any way that doesn't get even looked at by VAR? Is there any way that the referee doesn't get told to go over to the monitor? And then a couple of days later, the same thing with Man United as well. I do think, even if it isn't kind of, even if it's not blatant corruption, it's subconscious, and they know. I don't know. There is something there. There's something there that.
What's this mean? Bournemouth, no penalty all season. What the fuck? It's fixed
I
verbal.
didn't know that. I didn't know that they'd not have a penalty all year. But I'll tell you one thing that's happened recently in the last few weeks is that Brighton, who were encroaching on that top 6, top 4 spaces, right? They had their challenge. All right, they didn't help themselves today, but they had their challenge completely decimated by 2 terrible penalty decisions. One's against Spurs and once a few weeks earlier against another of the established Big Six, right?
Yeah.
And they got 2 apologies running within a couple of weeks from PG Miles. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. We got that one wrong.
Right, we all want VAR binned, right? This is a story that I've seen. It might not be coming out next season. It's something they're discussing. It might be for the season after. But they're talking about having open comms for VAR now. Because at the moment, what you've got is when there is a check going on, it can be anything from, I said it yesterday, between 30 seconds to fucking 5 minutes in some cases. There's a dead spot in the game. We don't know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on. It would probably be quite interesting to hear the comms, though. You know, like what you do at the rugby, to hear these fucking idiots talking to each other. I wouldn't mind it so much, probably.
Of course it would, because then the referees would be careful and have to articulate their reasons for the decision they're making. And yesterday, honestly, you are so cut off from it inside the stadium, right? Unless it comes up on the screen and says VAR's being checked, right? You don't know that whether it's being checked. I know it looks like referees ignoring it.
So the handball for Lindelof, because that's what I was thinking, Gal. I don't remember that coming up on the screen saying VAR check.
It didn't.
But they did check it.
Yeah, well, apparently so, but you know, I'm always in 2 minds about that, John, because it always comes up on the screen when we're being checked.
Mate, it's like the Bowen goal that got disallowed against Liverpool, right? When you're watching that on the coverage, normally what they do is they put the image up on the screen. You can see him drawing the lines. You can see the whole process. The Bowen one, it was literally 5 seconds or 10 seconds after the goal, and they flashed it up on the screen. That's all it was. It was up, it was down, and you're like, well, hang on a minute. You know, can we have a look? But anyway, give us a score, Gary and John, for Peter Wanks and VAR combined score. We donkeying him up.
I'm giving him a 2.
Big time. Take that donkey off Moyes. Put it on him.
I ain't taking the donkey off Moyes because I can't
take it off Moyes this week.
It ain't coming off.
Take
his face,
it off Moyes this week.
No.
Come on.
You can't do it. Nick, you can't do that, you baby. Get it off.
I can.
Come on. You can't. Coming off his face. You can't donk Moyes up this week.
What's this mug doing here? What's this mug?
What's that?
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. What?
David Bowles. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
No. Scott Barnard, don't come creepy crawling back to me now, son. I'll fucking... Next time you're in London, you ain't getting in my cab.
Right, okay. No, I'm not. So that I can't look at his face. So that's the donkey is staying there for effect.
No.
But we're going to score him differently.
And take the donkey on their head, Nick.
You can. I can't. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
It's like the Masked Singer.
No, I'm not doing it.
Off.
No, go on, give him a score. I'll give it to Gary.
Hang on, no. Before you,
Moyes. I thought we got everything bang on, fine. Including all of the substitutions. I'm gonna take a point away for his post-match comments. I thought he was a bit arrogant, so I'm gonna give him an 8.
An 8. That's fine.
Yeah, hang on, which means he's not a what?
He's not a donkey.
So therefore, what has to come off?
Come on, Nick, donkey off.
Yeah, I'll take it off later.
Well,
anyway, look. So what we're going to do? Man in the match. I'll take it off once we've done the man in the match. Let me run a poll. Who are the contenders for man of the match?
Well, according to the scoring system, you're 10 for Kera.
Rice,
Paqueta.
Man of the match.
How many can you do?
4.
Okay, so do. Right, we've got too many.
Kera, Rice,
Paqueta, Antonio.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Ogbonna. I would have given it Ogbonna just because of the way I just love him.
Pac-Man, you just love centre backs, right?
I do, because I was a very good one myself. So, right, there's a poll. There's a poll in the chat, people. So
there we go. It's live. It's live, everyone.
Yeah. Get voting.
Right. What we thinking? Go on, make your predictions, Gary and John. Who do you think it's going to fall on?
I think it'll go Paqueta.
Oh, it's close, you know.
I'm going to go Kera.
Kera wasn't. I don't. Nick,
I honestly think he. I cannot. I was watching the game yesterday, John, expecting him to make a fuck up. I don't remember one.
Not one. It was the opposite of making a fuck up. He was
outstanding. He was good, but I mean, I think I was looking. I think the reason Yeah, I don't know. I just thought as an attacking team we were so good yesterday.
We
I'd
were.
probably have to give it to one of the attackers out of the choices, I suppose.
I couldn't argue. Whoever gets it, I couldn't argue with.
Yeah,
it, right?
there's that. There's that. I thought they was all good, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Hang on, 1 minute.
Look at these people. Look, we don't need to know who your man of the match is in the chat. There's a poll in there. These people can't read.
Scores a bit overboard, Trudge.
We must have the most illiterate bloody viewers in the world here. Sorry.
Scores a bit overboard. They could have been 3 goals up in the 15
we go.
minutes.
See, the people
No,
are
see, I
speaking.
think Trudge.
Hang on, Nick. He's only been down for a minute.
Trudge. Hold on.
He
What
wasn't
do you think
running
of
for a
this
bit
comment
longer.
by Trudge? I reckon I disagree, right? There was, to me, I think there was one good chance, and that was Fernandez, the one that he dragged just wide. That was a really good chance. But Rice had shut him down.
Yeah, but
the other two, I
Trudge,
think,
we could have had
speculative.
We could have had 3 or 4 goals as well.
Yeah.
Are we,
I think,
are we going to score the game on 15 minutes worth of play then? Is that what he wants us to do?
I think he does. Yeah.
I thought we was outstanding yesterday. And
Hang
like
on.
I say,
Shaky says, take the donkey off or I will not like the show. Nick, take the donkey off, mate.
don't like the show then. Don't care. Hit the fucking dislike button. I don't
as
care.
well.
That's out of order.
We had our
Coming
total
off.
our total squad value yesterday was around about 300 million, 320 million. Their squad value, and that was really with a lot of players missing, 750 million.
Yeah, but they must have been fucking. Listen, they paid 80 million for Anthony, so they got fucking ripped off by a lot of them players.
Yeah, I know. Sancho as well.
How much
Sancho
they
as
paid for him?
80 million, wasn't it? Was that?
Yeah, and
Jesus.
and 85 for Sancho, which is the biggest waste of money anyone's ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great point. Not many have kept Rashford quiet this season, Virgin. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So,
Are you talking to us?
who's that?
Lee German with thick cunts.
The bloke who can't spell thick properly called us thick cunts.
He might not be talking to us.
That's another Spurs fan, isn't it?
Steve Tiley,
Gotta be.
speak for yourself, Lego. Trudge said they hit the post twice. Yeah, outside of the post, don't care.
Oh yeah, outside of the post. Fabianski had it covered.
Right, John, there's 141 votes. It is close. Kara's on 42. Rice
You're
is
going
on
to cut
39.
it. You're going to cut it, though. You will cut it when your man's winning. That's what you do.
I'm not going to. But I do think Kara was outstanding. He was. I mean,
He was,
you know,
but there are a lot of them was.
He was. But look, he's still in front. It's very close. It's marginal.
Who's square
42. Now it's down to 39 again. So Rice was 40. Now he's 39%. Kara's still in the lead. I'm going to give it to Kara.
Go on,
Yes.
give it to Kara.
Right. Okay.
Well done, Kara.
There you go. I'm just a better salesman than you, John. See? There we go.
What's he say? Mark Thomas says Virgil's turning on the peasants. Game's gone.
Right. Okay. So let's get that off. So yeah, David Moyes 8. I'll take the donkey off later, everyone. Don't worry. I will.
Nick, get
You
rid of
trust
that
me.
player ratings crap. The screen. You've done it.
It's gone.
Yeah,
It's
he'll do
gone.
it before he goes to bed later. Honest.
It's gone.
Keith
Yeah, I will,
said,
yeah.
this
Yeah.
is in reply to Trudge. Keith says, we hit their net 3 times and should have had a penalty. What did Man United do? Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. Look. I was admirable with the way that we took that game. Like I said, we had the same approach the whole way through. I think we was even more effective in the second half the way that we came out. Yes, Man United could have scored at any time, but so could we. It was literally end to end, a brilliant match. We went toe to toe with Man United and we beat them. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. You know,
This ain't true, Chris. Chris, is this serious, mate? I've got to spend $3,500
probably
at
is.
the vet tomorrow for a procedure on my cat. I'm selling my memorabilia to help cover it. Signed shirt.
Yeah, you can,
pictures.
mate. You can. Yeah, of course
$3,500.
you can.
Fuck
That's
it,
ridiculous. That's
That's a lot of
ridiculous,
cash,
mate.
isn't it?
Fucking hell. Have you not got insurance? Not got insurance for her. That's a fucking hell.
What has she ever done? That's a lot of money for a cat. They're only little.
Mate, they charge you money for fuck all in the vets. Honestly.
License
It's
to put money in
ridiculous.
it.
Yeah.
Why has he ruined it? We just had a nice moment. Darren Clarkson, Virgil's noggin is the size of one of. Listen, this is out of order.
How many
Right,
years
okay.
the higher?
Right, we are connected, so we can start taking phone calls.
My
Yeah,
money's
okay.
on Gary.
You reckon?
Yeah, no, that's a lot of money for a cat. I couldn't pay that. I know you love animals. People love animals. I get it, but bloody hell, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's difficult though when it's your pet. You know, it's
Black Country's. I think Black Country's having an argument with himself. Who's squarehead? Who's thick now? What's he talking about? What is he on about? Like, seriously?
Here
Unknown
we go.
caller.
Here we go.
Oh,
Hang on.
oh.
Did that come through on the?
I heard the thing.
Hello,
It
this
never
is
works
Nick,
first
John,
time.
and Gary from Clarendon Booze. Who am I talking to?
Tony.
Hello, Tony. You all right, mate?
Hello, mate. Yeah.
Hi, Tony.
You're good. Hello, Tony. What would you like to talk about today?
Bit about care. First, I'd like to say I've been off. I haven't heard a lot of you lately because I've been in hospital. I've just had a quadruple heart bypass.
Blimey.
Oh, bloody hell.
And listening to yous and that performance yesterday was good for my heart, mate.
Good.
It was great.
Oh,
You know.
yeah. It was.
Um,
it was good. It was good. Are you
I'm on the mend
recovering?
now.
You recovering all right? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm off work for 3. So I was a tanker driver who spoke to you before when I was going to get
Yeah.
up at 3, and John
Oh,
said,
yeah, I
"Wake Nick
remember,
up
I
at
remember.
3."
Yeah.
And I'm the one who always thinks. I'm the one who always
Tony the
sticks up the
tanker, innit?
Skamaka.
Tony the tanker.
That's it, Tony the tanker. Yeah.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, I got a 3 to 6 month recovery, but that was a tonic yesterday watching that performance.
Yeah,
It was.
really
With Kerr, all I'd like to say about him, I've always thought he was class. And when he was having bad performances, you've got to remember the team were playing crap. There was no confidence at all
No.
in the side. And when a defender makes a mistake, it costs you big time.
Yeah.
And I just think if Rice goes, he is captain material, and his delivery at set pieces is second to none. The
Yeah.
bloke's a genius. And all I want to say is, lads, is I just hope we get a progressive attacking manager and we can keep Skamaka and this group of players and add a few more. And I think we're up there with the best, mate.
Yeah.
Really, we've got some quality players used in the right way.
I'd love to see that.
That's all I really want to say, lads. Really, I'm buzzing still from yesterday, and like I said, that was good for my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was brilliant, and Kera, I think we've all kind of we all saw what Kera was all about when we brought him in. We was all excited, initially, and then but I think you're right. I think it must have been difficult for all of those new players, really. When you're coming in, it's the same as Declan Rice, first year as captain, and a lot of those new players, when you're not playing well, and it must have been quite a fucking horrible experience initially for a lot of them, I think. You know?
Well,
I mean, that's what I said. Sorry, Gav. That's what I said about Rice. It's easy to be captain when the team's doing well. When it's all going wrong, in your first season as a captain. So, I mean, like Tony says, it's the same for all players. New players into the league, new players into the team. You know.
Yeah.
I'd like to see what Tony said. I would like to see, under a new manager, Skamaka come back and be the real deal and really hit the ground running in the Premier League. Wouldn't that be brilliant?
Yeah, it would be.
Yes.
But I fear we're seeing the last
think
of
if
him.
Moyes stays, a lot of people say if Moyes stays, there's no chance of him coming back.
He's gone if Moyes stays. It's clearly. I mean, look. At the moment, I think the
there ain't-
situation. Yeah,
I've told you because I've got relations in Italy, and if Moyes stays, Skamaka's gone definitely.
Well,
we need someone.
The situation at the moment, Tony, it seems to be that the club don't even know what's happening with Skamaka. They're having trouble getting updates out of him. Yeah,
Wow.
Moyes has said he don't know what's going on. They've said, "What's the latest with Skamaka?" He said, "I don't know. We haven't heard from him."
So he's gone
Yeah,
missing.
Yeah.
So he's literally gone missing.
Yeah, but if you remember, I on a call a little while ago before I went into hospital, I told you that coming out of Italy,
You
he's
did.
virtually told Moyes,
You did.
"I'm done."
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did. I remember.
it did look like a good buy when he was leaving the London stadium, because he didn't even stay for the game, did he? He kind of left just before kickoff.
Yeah.
And he was looking very chipper, and he was leaving. He's changed his agency as well. But I mean, my thoughts on that, I've got to be honest, I really like Skamaka. I do.
Yeah, of course.
But there's probably more to it than just obviously this hasn't worked, but I mean to sort of leave and make your mind up after 6 months when the manager's on the ropes, he's obviously going to go. He hasn't just left David Moyes, he's left us. And if that is going to be the case, and that's the way that he is, then with all due respect, I wish him well, but I'm not being funny. We want people who want to be here, don't we?
I think
Exactly.
also,
Yeah.
I think also when you got players around the club like Rice, Noble's been brought
Cheers,
back
Keith.
in. Noble's
Cheers,
been
Keith.
brought back in. You've got Ogbonna. Ogbonna's Italian like him, so he's got people around him who can say, "Look, come here, I'll have a word with you. put an arm around him, give him a bit of loving that he needs. If not Moyes, then there are players there that can do that. So if his mind's been made up purely based on Moyes, because no one knows what's going to happen at the end of the season, why would you not say, look, I'll wait till the end of the season, see what happens in the managerial stakes, you know what I mean? I think it's a little bit, what's the word? A little bit overly emotional to make your mind up after 6 months. And to be honest with you, like you said, if you don't want to be here already, then
he may have made his mind up about Moyes. It might be that. It might be the case because we know there's been fallouts in the camp. We know that. It may be that he's fallen out with the manager and he's gone while he's still here, he's gone. So hopefully if somebody else does come in, because I do think there's a fantastic player in Scamacca there. And don't get me wrong, there's part of me that, you know what, it's not mercenary. I think that he's a young guy. He wants to play football. I think if he feels that, say if he feels that David Moyes isn't going to get the best out of him and he's only going to go backwards under him, I don't blame him for wanting to fuck off. No. I don't. I think there is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with going. This ain't going to work. I want to go. I want to go.
But then, if we look at the polar opposite of that, if we look at someone like Vladimir Soufal, who was on the verge of leaving in January, to now winning us all back over again, that to me is a true professional.
I'll tell you what. Here's a question for you. As good as Soufal was, and as good as Kehrer was at right back, who would you start, Tony, at right back in the next game if both players were fit? Both players were fit and available, and your options are Soufal or Kehrer at right back. Who do you start?
Kehrer.
So would I.
I'll rate Kehrer. Can I just say one thing about Scamacca?
Yeah.
Go on.
Not that you're forgetting this. An English player, I agree what you're saying after 6 months. The Italians are totally different. They're emotional and they're passionate. And they're totally different mindset to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's my fault of sticking up for him. I'm not saying it's right. He should have walked out. Yeah, he should have stayed there. But they're in a totally different mindset to like your Czechs, your English players, Scottish players, players like that. Italians are a little bit more temperamental.
But that's why I agree with you, Tony. But that's why I used Ogbonna as a reference, because Ogbonna is one of those Italians. And if he can't get him, on his side, if that's the right phrase, then it's difficult for anyone at the club too. Do you know what I mean? Because Ogbonna is he's a West Ham man.
I just think with the right manager, there, he'll stay. And I agree with you with Ogbonna. Ogbonna loves West Ham.
Yes.
And he should be given another year at least, even just to boost the players in the dressing room. So I think 100%. He's got a lot about him, Ogbonna.
Yeah.
He has.
He's got a lot to give to the young boys as well, and the inexperienced players and.
He has, and one thing I will say, I weren't digging Scamacca out. I weren't. I mean, but the fact is, I was looking at it as a devil's advocate. We do only want players that want to play for West Ham. That's a fact. We do want that. But as an individual, me personally, and I think John, you're probably the same. With all our jobs that we don't want, when I'm in a situation where I'm not happy, I fuck off. I go, and I look for something else where I am happy. There is nothing wrong with that. So,
this is slightly different though.
This is his job. And this is his career. This is his brand.
He does want to play for West Ham, and I think he does want to prove himself in the Premier League. It's just he's been ruined, mate.
No.
Yeah. And you hear about we're linked with this striker, that striker. Nothing to change unless we get a manager that's going to play to their strengths.
I just can't work out for the life of me why. Right, with the way that Moyes, I know there was all this talk of changing style and this, that, the other, and that's why we've gone out. But if you look at Brozier, who he was linked with, he's completely different to what fucking Scamacca is. Completely different. A completely different style of player. You know, he probably would have suited this system that Antonio plays in because he's a runner. He would have been fine. But I don't understand the thought process behind these signings because Haller failed, and then he's gone out and he's got Scamacca, who is kind of another Haller, isn't he? He is. They're similar. Yeah. They're really similar. And you just think if you've got David Moyes there, just go out and get another Antonio. Same style player. Just go out and get one of them.
For 30 bob in the summer, won't we?
Yeah, no. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully we'll get a new manager in that will change our style, and we can start utilising some of these players.
Listen, it must be demoralising, right? If you're a striker who plays best in the front two or with players up around you, ball to feet and everything else, like Danny Ings, for instance, he's a goal poacher, right?
Yeah,
and he gets brought on to replace Antonio. He cannot play like Antonio. So it must be demoralising even for Ings. And he's at the end of his he's getting towards the end of his career. He's 30, and he's just gone 30.
Half
So he's
£500,000
only got
a month. £500,000 a month must
yeah, so
take the edge off it, go.
he's the blow, doesn't it? Right, but Skamaka is trying to establish himself. Ings ain't got anywhere else to go. Beyond West Ham, everything else is downwards after that, right? Skamaka's just starting out his career, so this must be as frustrating as fuck for him, right? To think that he's being completely misused in the biggest league in the world.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all
around it and everything else.
But
I mean, John. Just say for instance, Freddie. Let's fast forward. Freddie makes it. He goes to a club. You know, he's a good player. You know, he's getting minutes. He's 18, 19. He's getting minutes at his club. He's made a name for himself. He gets signed somewhere else. All of a sudden, for a year, he's rotting on a bench. He's not getting much game time. The manager is not bringing the best out in him. Are you saying to Freddie, listen, son, just stick with it? Or there's all these other clubs that want him and they want to play him? Or are you saying, no, get the fuck out? It's a short career. Go and play football.
Listen, I get that from an agent's perspective and a family member's perspective. It's different to a fan perspective, isn't it? As a fan, we want them to show.
What would you advise Freddie to do in that scenario?
Of course. Yeah, of course. Say look elsewhere, of course. I get that. I'm talking about Skamaka from a fan's perspective. As a fan, we want these great players or these good players who've got potential. We want them to stay. Yeah. We want them to stick with it. Look, I think with Skamaka, it is all, as Tony said, it's all going to depend on what happens with Moyes in the summer.
Yeah.
You know, we've got no chance of him coming back if Moyes is still here. So, you know.
Yeah. No.
But if the stories will be, you know, apparently West Ham are now going down the road of looking for a director of football. So, you know, that stance of things the whole sort of system may change within the club. Apparently, you know.
Have you heard the rumor that when Mark Noble was on his tour of France, he went to Monaco, he went to quite a few top clubs, and apparently he made very good friends with the director of football from Monaco, who is very highly regarded, and he's being tipped. So he wasn't just out there looking for players; he was out there tapping up staff as well. Apparently, so I've read.
The polar opposite to that is that we've been linked with the director of football at an MLS club called St. Louis. So I mean, believe what you want.
I know. But anyway, Tony. To close the call, mate. What are your? I'll tell you what. I'll ask you a couple of questions. First of all, you think we're safe? Do you think we're going to go on and win the Europa Conference League?
I can get excited about that now. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Same as me. I'm excited now.
Yeah. Premiership survival was the main thing, but now I'm really looking forward to it.
Absolutely, and I think we are safe now, even though there's been a couple of. I'll tell you what. Imagine if we hadn't got the win yesterday with the results today. Southampton and Everton winning, you'd have been like, "Fucking hell," you know. That's getting a bit real, isn't it? So it was such an important win that was yesterday. It was brilliant. And the other thing, mate, if I'm going to ask each caller this question, because if we go on, obviously we're going to survive. We're in the Premier League. If David Moyes goes on and lifts the cup, do you stick with David Moyes or do you get him out the door and say thanks very much, Dave? Off you go. Get someone else in. What do you do?
No fucking way. Get someone else in. I've been wanting him gone since you have.
Yeah.
So you know, it'd be thank you very much.
Yeah.
And ta-da, mate.
Off you go. Off you go.
Nick,
go back blowing your bagpipes up in the islands.
Nick.
Yes.
He's just had a quadruple fucking heart bypass, and you've asked him if we should keep Moyes. Think about your questions, for fuck's sake.
Can I just say, lads? Before I go, thanks for everyone's messages on wishing me well, and thank you to Use Free, because you are by far the best West Ham channel going, and you've really given me a little boost. I love watching you. It just cheers me up. Carry on the good work, and thank you very much.
Cheers, Tony. And
thanks everyone for their well wishes. Thank you.
No worries, mate. And sincerely, I hope your recovery goes really well, mate. And you're back on the road in your Sanka. You'll be back to being Tony the Sanka in no time.
Yeah, back to delivering some fuel for you, lads.
Are you a big tanker, Tone? Are you a big tanker?
Yeah. We're all the big. We're the big tankers, mate. We ain't
little toys. Sound like a big tanker.
44,000 litre boys. 44,000 litres, lads.
Oh, cheers, Tony. Thanks for the call, mate. And like I say, wish you better, and we'll speak. Make sure you do call back in.
Yeah, look
Let us
after
know
you.
how you
Will do. Cheers,
Let us
lads.
know
Great
you
show.
care.
Thank
Good
you
luck,
very
mate.
much.
Cheers,
Cheers,
mate.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Here we go. Right, we'll put the phone number up if anyone
How's he
else does
asking him
want
a
to phone
question
in.
so volatile when he's just fucking had four?
That's not. Why is that volatile?
Because you know it gets people going, and he sounds like he's going to get going. Then I had to calm it all down.
Hey, Gary's going to be fuming because he didn't get on first. Right, hang on.
Oh,
Hello, is that Gary from Romford? Second caller of the night. Gary, what happened? He was a bit slow.
Yeah, Tony was sharp tonight, wasn't
Hang on.
I was going to say, what a lovely bloke.
He was a lovely
good
guy.
luck in the minute. Yeah, great.
Right, I've got some overseas calls coming in on WhatsApp. I've had one from I don't know where that was from, and I got one from Denmark. Just hold the line and then call back in when Gary's finished. Right.
Okay.
Lovely stuff. Go on, Gary. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, right. I spoke to you last night, Nick, as you know, so I won't go into about the game again because we had a chat about it last night. I'm glad Gary and John had a great night.
Yeah.
Right, a couple of points. Considering the results today, I mean, it looks like now Southampton are gone, Leeds and Leicester on 30, and so they're the ball to go down, but we've still got to play them both.
Yeah.
Which, if they don't get any more points, then even a draw against them teams will keep them at arm's length. But the bigger question is, with this semi-final coming up, we've got the Brentford game sandwiched between the two semi-finals.
Yeah.
On the Brentford game, I mean, it depends on the score, I suppose. If we can get a 1 or 2 goal lead and take it back, which I think we can, what do we do? Because there's several players I'm worried about that are vulnerable. For example, centre halves, a Bonner and a Guerd. Guerd can be a little bit injury prone. Bonner's not getting any younger. We haven't got Zuma there. Dawson's gone. And Antonio, I mean, he doesn't get injured anymore, I know, but he's still playing a lot of game time. And he makes the system work. We've got no one else, he does make the system work. When he plays, we play. So with the Brentford game, what do we do? I mean, would you right off the Brentford game, would you not play a Bonham and a Guerd? And if we do that,
I'd write off the
who do you
Brentford
play
game.
in the centre defence?
Yeah.
I think either way, right, it doesn't matter too much. The only risk is injury.
One second, Gary. I've blocked George Sutherland. I noticed on the chat yesterday there was loads of people asking me to block him because he was on loop. George Sutherland was every fifth message was saying Moyes must stay with hand claps. I've just seen he's popped in. I'll put you on timeout. If you do it again, I'm fucking blocking you. All right?
Look,
sorry. Go on, Gary.
The danger with these games that are coming up is that we'll get an injury, right? Yeah. The two Alkmaar games, AZ Alkmaar or RZ Alkmaar, as they call them, they're a very good side who rise to the big games, right? So they've just had a blinding result against Ajax, but when you look at apparently the last 3 or 4 years, they've got the best record. Better than the other three. So you're talking PSV, Feyenoord, and Ajax. The top three, they're fourth, right? So the top. If you take all those 4 teams, who's got the best record playing against the others? It's Alkmaar. They always rise to the big game, and so they're missing their best player, who is a left back, whose name I forget. I've got it here. Kirkes. He's banned. He's left back. Apparently, shit off a shovel. Really, really good. Gets forward. He is missing for the first game, banned. He'll be back for the second leg over in Holland. So they're going to be stronger proposition out there, like we thought they would be anyway, because they've got home advantage. Yeah. So that
side at home, I don't think they travel that well, do they? I think they're better at home.
No, that's right. That's right. So I think, going back to the original question, I think I agree with John. Just rest a load of players, or rest at least a handful against Brentford, because we don't want to risk injuries, right? We want a strong team going out there, a rested team going out there.
Yeah.
The thing is,
Gary,
what's that?
Would you have to give a 2-goal lead to go take out there, or do you want more than that?
I mean, two would be all right. I think I do feel like we're going to concede against Alkmaar. I must admit, I do feel that way. But
what was you going to say, John?
I've got no problem with resting as many as you want against Brentford because the game. Listen, because morally the game means nothing against Brentford. They can't. They're mid-table. They're done. we're safe, right? Not mathematically, but we're safe. So we're not doing anyone any disservice by resting players against Brentford. We go out next week. So we've got Alkmaar, full strength. Brentford, rest everybody. I don't give a monkeys, right? And then
Give Cornet a full game for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but then next week, next week the away leg, get through into the final, and then again the only game we can't, rest people against is Leeds because Big Fat Sam, and it means something to a lot of clubs down the bottom. So we have to we have to do things properly against Leeds. Brentford games means fuck all to both sides. So
The only thing is, John. With Leeds and Leicester, we've got to play them both. So. If, for example, Leeds have got Newcastle, so hopefully they'll lose that. But then again, I thought Everton would lose to Brighton today, so you can't. But
true.
We haven't got to win those games. Even a draw against either one of them, we'll just keep them at arm's length and keep the points distance the same. But obviously, end of the day, I suppose we only need to finish above 3 teams, not 5.
Yeah,
that's what we need. Whether we finish 15th, 16th, 17th, doesn't matter. If we win the conference and we finish 17th, I don't care.
No. I couldn't give a shit about the league now. I've got to be, as long as we're safe and we stay in it.
No. The other thing I'm going to ask you, with Antonio, looking forward, obviously Ings can't play the system. Scamacca don't want to be here. I'll get rid of him. Get our money back. Not taking a lot on him.
But hang on a minute, Gary. You're talking as if David Moyes is staying next season. If David Moyes is here next season, then yes. But what if we get another manager in that can use Scamacca?
Well, yeah. Well, we don't know. That's a fair point. If he may play a different system.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I can only think of 2 players that who are playing in the Premier League at the moment who could, if you could go and replace Antonio with somebody.
Yeah.
One is Ollie Watkins at Aston Villa, who are not going to sell. Because Ollie Watkins runs the channels like Antonio does. He's a younger version. And the other one is at Chelsea. He's Broja, who I wanted him from the start over Scamacca because I just think he would fit in with West Ham. I think he's got a different mentality. He's played in the Premier League. I think he runs the channels. He's strong. I think he'd have been absolutely perfect for us. We could still get him. I know
he got bad injury.
He got an ACL injury.
Just as well we didn't fucking sign him. He'd have been out for the season.
Yeah, but he looks a really good player to me.
Is he back now? Then?
I think
no, he's not
Sorry?
back. He's not.
He's still injured, is he?
He's out for the whole season.
I think he's out for the season. But this is the thing. With Antonio, he's so important. I know some people, not everyone's a fan of Antonio. I love him. When he plays well, he makes the system work, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's brilliant.
I love him.
He's not a prolific goal scorer, but he's like Nick says, he does other things as well.
But anyway, Gary, let me ask you that question anyway. Go on, John. Go on, mate.
Just quickly on the Alkmaar thing, because me and Nick had a little bit of a disagreement last week over this, didn't we, Nick?
No.
Remember?
Yeah.
They're not as bad away from home as people think. I'm not sure really where that's come from. I think they've won. They've won about 12 games away from home in the league.
I think that's in Europe. I think that's in Europe, that kind of that record, because a couple of the fixtures. Yeah.
Hang on. Yeah. But they beat Lazio. They beat Lazio away.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying they're shit away from. I'm not saying they're shit away from.
Stronger at home.
They're not no mugs, but I'm just.
I think what we're saying is, I think with Alkmaar, I think if we struggle with them at home, then we're going to struggle away, aren't we?
Yeah.
On the upside,
that's the issue.
I think they've got 2 players missing, Gal. I think they've got 2 suspended. I think I heard they've got a creative midfield player,
I think you're right.
and their striker suspended for this game.
I think you're right. And
so
the best
goal for it, go on. Sorry.
Well, the upside of Alkmaar is they're a young side.
Yeah.
Right. So especially their back line is quite young. So so a bit of joy to be had there. Maybe Antonio getting amongst a young back line that could be. They've probably never played against someone like him before.
Their main striker and their main playmaker and creator isn't playing. They're banned.
Yeah,
they're banned for the game for the home leg.
To be honest, we'll have a full house there, 62,500. We've got to run that atmosphere up on Thursday. We've got to fright the life out of them and just blitz them from the first 15, 20 minutes. Just absolutely go for them. But if you score early, I think they'll fold. And I think but if we can get a 2-goal lead or more, then I'll be happy. But with what the players have got to remember, that semi-final last year, because I ain't forgotten it yet, and the players got to remember what it felt like and not make the mistakes again, because we lost it in the home league, didn't we, really?
I like to think they will never forget that feeling of losing that semi-final, that must haunt them,
Yeah.
And the thing is, I didn't think Frankfurt were a better team than Lyon or Seville. I mean, Seville have been the masters of the Europa League, and we've beaten them. You know, that's what's so disappointing that game. I was so gutted about that semi-final. I thought we could have won that cup last year.
Yeah,
we would have been in the Champions League.
but anyway, Gary, to close the call, look, we're safe. I think we're safe. We're going to be all right. If we go on and we win the Europa Conference League, which I do expect us to do now, would you be in favour of sticking with David Moyes and giving him another year, or would you like to see us move on with just shake his hand, see you later, move on with someone else? What would you?
I'm probably like the most. I'm probably like the most people think. I probably would like to move on. The only thing I would say is, when you looked at Everton, he had the first 2 really good seasons. His third season was he got relegated, and then he really went on strong again with Everton.
The style was always a fucking same. No, even when he had a few, he moved up for. That was never good to watch or anything like that. No.
But listen, it all depends. Some fans have got different views on things. Some fans don't care if they don't win anything. They just want entertainment. Some fans want to actually see some trophies there. Yeah. And, I suppose for the first 2 seasons, I didn't dislike the football we played under Moyes the previous 2 seasons. The counter-attacking play was quite exciting at times. But obviously, the only thing I would say is we're all a bit guilty of this season, all of us, including myself. The new players that have come in, maybe we haven't given them enough time. Now you're seeing...
No, Gary, it doesn't take him a full season to adjust. Not 35 games. This is basically he's reverted that what he was trying to do with them wasn't working. If you look at this, doesn't happen in any other team, Gary. It doesn't. Not en masse. You might have, but you might have one player that might struggle to adapt. But we're talking a fucking team full. It doesn't happen, and it don't give him enough minutes. For instance, if you want him to come in, you look at what Newcastle did with their player, with their striker they brought in. They brought him in, they played him. Yeah, they brought him in, they played him. Now, if they're going what I'm saying is, if you want a player to adapt to a league, play him in it. Play him in the fucking games. They're not going to adapt to the speed of the Premier League sitting on the bench, are they?
No, that's true. But what I'm saying to you is, we had the same system for 2 years, which was a counter-attacking game, and then we tried to go to this possession-based game.
Oh, did we? We've never gone over 30 or 40%. We've never gone over 30 or 40% in the whole time that this whole season.
Yeah, but have we done that much under him at all, ever? Even when we were doing
but that's what I mean. But this nonsense that we go into a possession-based game, no, we didn't. What possession?
I don't think we ever did. No,
there ain't been no possession. We didn't have any. Basically, we didn't have any identity until the last few games where we've gone. Where I don't know what's happened.
We've gone back.
Yeah, we've gone back.
We've reverted back.
Lee Jerem in the chat says if he wins a trophy, he deserves another season. 100%.
Well, I disagree. I disagree.
You can believe that.
All I would say is, and Nigel Calm, if he's probably listening, will probably be saying and agree with me. I'm not Moyes in, and I'll tend to agree with maybe we do need a change. But I would say this: if we do win the conference this year, we're in Europe for 3 years on the spin. We've never done that in the club's history. You can't dismiss that. I'm not saying I want Moyes to stay. I would like a change, a younger, progressive manager. But we can't dismiss that. We can't.
Well, I think honestly, if we win the Conference League and stay up, I think he will stay. I'm not just saying that. I think he will stay. I won't agree with it. I think he will.
I'll tell you exactly what will happen next year if that happens. We'll have another 6 months to a year of us pissing and fucking moaning on this channel about shit football because David Moyes, when he's not under pressure, will play shit, fucking horrible, defensive, wanky football, like Antonio said in his podcast, where we only go for it in the last 10 minutes. The only reason we've started going for games now is because these bollocks are on the block. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, true.
That's it.
Can I ask Gary and John, just a quick question, Gary and John, the previous 2 seasons, when we like season 4 last and the first season, when the lockdown season, 2 seasons we finished 6th and 7th.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy watching us play?
Yeah, of course. And that's what yesterday.
Well, I don't know, John.
Yesterday was a throwback to the previous times under Moyes, in my opinion.
John, last season, Europe was fantastic. Apart from when we got into the semi-final, that's the thing that brightened up the second half of the season because the second half of the season in the league was shit.
But the whole club, including the fan base, was fixated with the European Cup.
Oh yeah. We'd never done it. We'd done it for years, we loved it, right?
That's what I'm saying. We almost all dismissed the league, didn't we? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll
we
say
was
what-
losing games in the league,
do you
but I
think?
didn't care because we were still in Europe. I know it sounds silly, but it's true. I did.
I think he
do you know-
showed himself
do
to
you-
be a limited manager.
Yeah, do you know when you look back, when it all started going wrong, was the last November, we beat Liverpool 3-2. Do you remember? We had a brilliant game against Liverpool at home, beat them 3-2. We had an international break, and then we come back, lost the Wolves 1-0. And it seemed from that point on that the form dipped a lot.
Yeah.
So I wonder why it happened like that. You know, just suddenly, 1 minute you're beating, 1 minute you're beating Liverpool 3-2, and then suddenly it's like drop off a cliff almost, the league form.
Yeah, look, I'm running a poll as we're talking, so I've done stay up and win the cup. Moyes in or Moyes out. Based on we've still got over 500 people watching, so we'll see what the upshot
I
is.
think this is an interesting. So Lee, I wasn't trying to mug you off, Lee, when I put your comment up, but I think this is where a lot of people are worried, and I was a little when I was still Moyes in back in November. This was my concern. Remember. Worried we'll see another bollocks Pellegrini appointment. When we win this cup, I'll have ammo to shut all the Barcodes. And I was worried in my mind because Nick was going Pochettino and all these big and Tuchel. And I was like, we're not going to get them type of managers. So my concern at that time was who would we get? But I think now the end of the season is nigh. There must be more managers available or coming to the end of their time or more approachable.
There are, John. There is, John. But the thing is, the managers we're going to be getting are a level below Pochettino and Tuchel.
Yeah,
they are. Yes,
obviously, Nick's Moyes out. Now, I'll say to Nick now, and Nick, I'm not saying Moyes in. Don't get me wrong, I'm not. But I'm just asking you a question. Bearing in mind what's just been said about the Pellegrini thing, that does worry me. We get it wrong. Who would you like to see come in?
Listen,
who would you like to see?
I've spoken about who I'd like to come in. There are an abundance of managers that I'd like to come in. But listen, because of Pellegrini, now I'm not being funny, because of what happened with Pellegrini, if he'd have been given the rest of that season, we could have been even further on now. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that. He got 19. No. He got 19 points from the first half of that season from 18 games. All David Moyes did in the second half of that season, after spending 30 or 40 million in January, he got to 20 points, 1 point more. That's all he did. Now, Pellegrini was hamstrung by the fact that he wanted the Chelsea goalkeeper, Mendy. That's who he wanted. We didn't go out. We didn't buy him. They bought him fucking Roberto. We got Roberto in. He was the reason. That's what hamstrung us. Everything fell to pieces. The wheels came off. Now, I'm not saying maybe we went Pellegrini too soon. You go for a manager at that level too soon. But he's doing all right at Betis, Pellegrini. He ain't shit. He does play good football. Now, I am sorry, but using Pellegrini, stick with what you've got. Better the devil, no, fuck that. We've just had 18 months. What? We've had 18 months of misery. No, that is not an excuse to go, careful what you wish for. What if this goes wrong? No, I'm sorry.
I hate that saying, I really do.
No, it's like you're in a relationship you hate. Yeah. You fucking hate your other half.
Careful
or better
what
not
you
leave
wish
her in case the next one's worse.
I hate that. Let's just hope that.
So, Nick, what I'm saying, so if it's down to you tomorrow, you're the West Ham chairman, you said about number of managers, but who would be have you got a number one choice?
Have I got a number one choice? Who I would bring in? A number one choice. Well, look, we've spoken about them. I do like Pochettino. I do like Brendan Rodgers. I do like Postecoglou. No, I do like Postecoglou. These are the types of managers that I want. I want a manager that will play progressive football, that will get the best out of this group of players that we've got. We saw on display against Man United passages of play that demonstrated the technical ability that we've got within that team.
Of course.
What I would say, Nick, in your favour is if we got rid of Moyes, bearing in mind you've got Scamacca, he maybe would stay if we've got a different manager. But Kera,
I'll tell you what's going to.
Next side of it, they would actually benefit. Maybe you got a point in that argument,
mate. It's going to go back to basics. I think you've already heard from fucking. If David Moyes stays, they won't back him with any more big signings. We're going to be seeing just loads of players come from the Championship. Now, look, I know a lot of people might say that's fine, but you know what? If you buy enough Championship players, you turn into a Championship team. That's what's going to happen. You can't build your whole team full of Championship players. You can't.
That doesn't make sense. But that doesn't make sense. That's a contradiction there because
it's not, mate. But it's not. Bowen's a good player, but he's hard working. You can't have 11 Bowens.
You ain't even listened to let me finish what I'm saying. Is a contradiction, right? The contradiction there is that if the board keep him, they will not invest in the squad. So why fucking keep him then?
They won't. No, but they've already said that.
Okay, so if they do keep him, if they've already said that and they decide to keep him, what does that show? A lack of what?
Lack of ambition. We know that.
Well, exactly. So who's the fucking
yeah,
main
yeah,
man?
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
And look, Scott says here, I mean, this whole, I would only take Company. Company's not going to leave.
He's not going to leave Burnley
for 1 or 2 more years. If he keeps them up, he'll stay. He ain't going to walk away from it.
I still go back to what I felt when all this was going on about swapping the manager out. I do feel that if we stay up and we win a trophy, that is peak, and we're selling Rice in the summer, that is peak time for Sullivan to move the club on to someone else.
I'm going to ask you something now, right? I'll tell you, I'll ask you this, Gary. What exactly do you think that David Moyes would have done in the last 3 years if he didn't have Declan Rice? Next season, David Moyes without Declan Rice. Let me paint the picture for you there.
Well, it doesn't matter it's anyone without Declan Rice.
But I'm saying now, what would David Moyes have achieved in the last 3 years without Declan Rice? John, what do you reckon?
Nowhere near as much as this, but he's a big world-class player. So that goes without saying, mate. I mean, that's neither here nor there. That's obvious.
But we've been what I'm saying is we've been reliant on that guy. Yeah, that guy has been carrying us through. He has been.
Yeah, of course.
Honestly, Nick, if you're going to move the club on, right, what you really want is the manager in the last year of their contract who's quite cheap to get rid of, right?
Yeah.
Not that maybe a new owner wouldn't care, but they probably would, right? If you sign a new contract with a new manager now, it's going to be 3 years or so, right?
Yeah.
And the new owners are going to come in, going to have to pay him off, right?
Yeah.
So I do think if Moyes, if he keeps Moyes on, I think that would be the reason he'd keep Moyes on. Publicly, he'd say it's because he's won a cup.
So the poll, and this is after a win against Man United, a very good win, and I'm happy. Do you know something? This fucking fills my heart with joy because I was starting to get the arsehole with the flip floppers. It's sitting there at 90% Moyes out. 90% of people still wouldn't have gone if we win the cup. Because there's been a lot of flip flopping in the fan base where we win one fucking game and people start going, ooh. It drives me mad.
There's been people reeling you in, Nick, and you think there's more than there is.
I don't think it is, John. I don't think it is.
It's like the comment.
No, I don't think it is. I think there's some people generally, what they do. Look, let's be honest about it here. We haven't won nothing since 1980. It's 43 years.
Yeah.
It's disgraceful for a club of our size, really. It's disgraceful.
But the worst thing I've heard...
Talk about underachieving club. It's terrible.
Yeah, go on, Gal.
The worst thing I've heard is comparing him to, saying that if he wins a trophy, he's up there with Greenwood and Lyle. He's up there with Greenwood and Lyle. Let me just be clear, though. He's not up there with Greenwood and Lyle. Fuck off, is he?
No. Gary, Lyle won the Cup in 75. He won the FA Cup in 80. Yeah. He got a third. Nearly won the league in 86. He got a League Cup final in 81.
It ain't just about trophies. Those managers won trophies. They were groundbreakers. I mean, the way we played under Ron Greenwood, and he bought the first European trophy. He won the first FA Cup for the club. He won the first European trophy for the club. Right, absolutely groundbreaking. He also brought John Lyall through as his successor, and he went on to manage England. But you look at the football we played for most of the time under Lyle and most of the time under Greenwood, and say that compares in any fucking way to what David Moyes has produced. I mean, and plus they've got longevity on their side. They were here for a couple of decades, right? Moyes has been here for 3 years.
The thing is, the thing is, I agree with you, but the younger fans, 30 and younger, who don't, I mean, I saw a 75-80 cup final. I went to the 76 cup final in when we lost it to Anderlecht. I think 86 nearly in the league. I've seen that, but a lot of younger fans haven't, and they see more.
But they must have seen the 15-16. They must have seen the 15-16 season, which was better. That was a more exciting season than anything we've seen in the last 2-3 years, barring the fact that status of playing against Sevilla and Lyon. Apart from that, that was way better that season.
Nick, it was, and that season under Bilic, we went away and beat Arsenal away, Liverpool away. With style,
we was winning those games.
We took the big boys on and beat them, but that they would turn around and say, in the day, what did Bilic win?
What the fuck is that? Honestly, yes, he'll go on and win a trophy.
I'm trying to make the argument, Nick.
I know.
Younger fans are seeing us now top 6, top 7. It's all they know, probably. They're comparing it. That's what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
We had this debate a couple of weeks ago. It's a generational thing, isn't it? You don't think so?
Of course it is. Yeah,
maybe.
I don't know. I don't know if it is a generational thing.
Well, I tell you what. If David Moyes is the best that these young fans can hope for, and I fucking feel sorry for him, and I'm begging and pleading to you now. I promise you, there is more than David Moyes. I promise you, we can do better.
Gary from Romford. Before you go. Someone slipped us a tenner in the chat.
So say one more thing.
But you have to say one more thing like Columbo.
Cheers, Alec.
Cheers, Alec.
One more thing.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what. One more, Gary. We aren't good because you've been a sneaky devil. You've triggered me off, and I've given you 25 minutes. I've broken me rule.
That's what I've done before.
I've broken me rule. So
I'm getting fed up with this 10-minute limit. I thought I ran enough of this.
I know. But anyway, look, we're gonna
I'm part of the furniture. You know.
You are. We are. We're gonna let you go, mate. And because Gary's got to get up in the morning as well.
Cheers,
And
Gary.
listen, lad. One more thing. Come on, you on Thursday. Just smash them and get this one.
Let's smash him. Cheers, Gary. Thanks for the call, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thank
See you
you.
later.
Take care, mate.
Right, we will take one more call because there was a couple of calls that came in. So if you've still got the number, we will take one more, but only one more because I'm getting tired and all. Right, so I'll put that up for a minute. If anybody does want to call in, please do.
So Eric agrees with you, Gary, regarding Greenwood and Lyle being top managers.
There we go.
You know what? I look upon it. Say hello. I just want to finish my sentence. Go on, say hello.
Hello, is that Leo?
Yes, this is him.
Hello, Leo. You're all right, mate. Right, go, 1 second. I'm going to put you on. Not going to put you on hold. Gary just wants to finish his sentence first. Go on.
I just want to say
good.
Hello, Leo. I just want to say that John Lyle and Ron Greenwood just hold a kind of demigod status in my eyes in terms of the club. It's a sort of semi-religious thing, right? As far as I'm concerned, they're like the foundations of our football club. That's what made our football club great, right? Moyes ain't in that category. If Moyes stayed for 10 years, won a few trophies, and got us to play marvelous football, beautiful football, I'd change my mind, obviously. But you don't do it in 3 years. And
that's why I don't think. But that's why I don't think it's generational because I never saw. I saw the back end of Lyle's managerial, but not a lot. I never saw Greenwood manage. I'm too young, but I still respect what they did, and I'll still hold them high. Okay, I didn't see them. You know what I mean? But I still hold them high up. I'm
going to cut you both off. We're going to give Lee a chat, and there's a chat from Denmark. We've got a call back as well because
who's on the line there? Leo,
we've got Lee Ochoa. Is that who we've got, Lee?
Yeah, it's Leonardo, but I go by Leo.
Oh, Lee, I remember
Leo.
you, mate. I remember you. Right, okay. And we've got a chat from Denmark. We've got a call back as well. So
okay, sounds good. No, I'm just from the States. No, I'm calling over. It was kind of weird because I'm actually recovering from an Achilles rupture injury. I tore my full Achilles, so it's kind of weird that someone else was in the hospital.
You still
just had an operation as well.
You're still recovering from that. You torn that last time we spoke.
Fuck me, what is this? An episode of Casual?
It's a whole year recovery till I'm back on the field.
Yeah, torn
Oh,
Achilles.
bloody
Torn
hell.
Achilles
Jesus.
is terrible, isn't it?
Achilles back on the what?
Ruptured
what?
Achilles.
What's that, John?
He said Tilly's back on the.
No, he's ruptured his Achilles, John.
It's Achilles, Nick.
Achilles.
It's Achilles, Nick.
You can't say Achilles, Nick, can you?
Achilles. All right. I might go and have a poccacino after I finish this show, John. You fucking dick. Right, sorry, Leonardo.
No, you're good. I just wanted to talk about Tilo Kehrer. I guess he's the hot topic that.
Yeah.
I thought he had a good couple of games, and I saw that that Virgil wasn't giving him the right amount of plaudits that he deserves. I think.
He wasn't.
What you gonna do? You're in America. What can you do to me? You're
He dismissed it, Leo. He dismissed Kehrer. Leo.
He did, didn't he? Leo, he absolutely dismissed him, didn't he?
I always thought. I mean, you have to be good to play for PSG and also for the German national team. So that was just my opinion, but also
I disagree with that.
Okay,
you disagree. I mean, I always. I mean, it's like Moy says, it's the first season he has to bet in, but I don't believe too much into that. But I want him gone, to be honest. But I think for this Thursday we have a lot to look forward to be honest, because I mean, I hope we're safe. Today's results didn't go the way we wanted to. Everton getting 5 at Brentford wasn't ideal, but I think we can look on to Thursday. With,
do you fancy us to win? Do you fancy us to win in Europe?
I would absolutely love it, just seeing the boys lifting the trophy. But I don't know. I feel like the second leg might be a little close because it's also over there at their home instead of ours. So I think we have to be a little bit worried about. I know a lot of people are being confident as we should, but we have to respect the opponent because we'll see in the first leg, because in the first leg Ghent gave us a few problems, but I know it was a weakened side that it wasn't our full strength 11, but at the same time, anything can happen in Europe.
I do think what we'll see now, that I think we'll see Moyes putting out his full strength team now, and I think we're going to go for it now, aren't we? I think we will now.
What we've got to do is no complacency.
That's
no,
right.
Absolutely. I feel like we should completely rest the boys against Brentford and just focus that on 100%. And when we face Allardyce's Leeds, we put 5 on them, and that'll bring the confidence up.
I'll tell you what.
Love that as well.
I'll tell you what, Leo. Somebody just mentioned this in the chat, and this makes me really sad actually, because it's a name that never pops into my head anymore, and we never talk about him. Lanzini. It's like he's not even at the club anymore. What are your thoughts on Manu now?
I thought absolutely against Man City he should have played a little bit. I know Paqueta was getting a little leggy, and when he got hit by a ghost hit him when Rodri tackled him, and he was on the floor just rolling around. But I just don't want to see him injured, because I know he could be a key player for the rest of the season, especially in Europe. He gets a little bit more time. He can pick up his head. We saw what he did against Ghent. Over there, just 20 minutes, he was the best player on the field.
Yeah,
and so I think.
Go on, John.
Sorry to interrupt you, Leo. It must be so disheartening for Lanzini, because he loves the club, right?
Yeah.
And he's got a little bit of a cult status with the fan base. He must put his boots on before every game, knowing he ain't got a chance of getting on.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even envisage where he can't be of benefit for 10 minutes here and there at all.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what is happening there. At times, I think he would offer more coming off the bench than Fornals, and it, you know, I love Fornals, of course I do. But
Fornals is you can see his confidence has dropped through the fucking floor, isn't it?
Yeah, but
it's gone.
When we've got moments when we need to unpick the lock of a defence and it's not working, we know we've got Paqueta, but he can't do it all of the time. Lanzini's your next best bet, isn't he?
You'd love to see it, wouldn't you? You'd love to see Lanzini playing with Paqueta.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
It'd be brilliant. They would be on the same wavelength.
Do you not remember Lanzini and Payet?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, people say he hasn't been the same since his injury, but I mean, it don't mean he can't have 10 or 15 minutes here or there.
And also, there's the argument that he might be leaving at the end of the season. But look, we knew that about Yarmolenko and Masuaku and players like that as well. He still used to fucking use them, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know, so it is a bit strange. I don't know why. I don't know why he's got to be like that. But
look, Kate Fergus says it here. I love Lanzini, but he's never been the same player since his injury.
No,
and
he
has also
hasn't.
been misplayed mostly by Moyes. Lanzini is not a defensive midfielder.
Not been the same, but he's had some moments. And you remember that goal against Palace. You remember that goal against Spurs. And he has had a couple of games where he's run the midfield. You know, not the same player, but he can do it on occasion, right? He's still got the talent. You don't lose the talent.
No.
Hey, look, so Eamon says give Lanzini and Cornet a game against Brentford. Hammer's Mikey's just give me a great idea. Moyes has really affected my sex life. Stressful as fuck watching him. Think me and the missus are going for a divorce this year. That's a good. I might write that one down. It's a good excuse.
I know. Well, hopefully they'll sack Moyes in the summer and save your marriage. There you go. See.
Yeah.
There you go. So anyway, so Leo, have you got anything else that you'd like to touch on, mate?
No, just about Lanzini. I feel like when we do dominate the ball, like we do in Europe a little bit, I think just having him next to Rice, because we saw that a little bit. I think it was last season or 2 seasons ago, where when we were trying to progress to the more dominant, get more for the possession, and people were trying to figure us out.
Yeah,
they were letting us have more of the ball, and I thought he looked good in that deeper role with Rice. And of course, if Paqueta is going to be there, I feel like they complement each other well. Just like he likes to receive the ball to his feet and not in the air, or the same with Emerson. They're very technical players, and so I feel like technical players will always be good with technical players. And then when you have Souček in the middle of the park, that's like he had a good game, or Sunday, of course, but just having like we saw in the earlier season, just having 10 people on the field that are really good technically isn't the same as having 11.
No, absolutely. And the thing is with Lanzini as well, I saw a stat pop up. This was more towards the start of the season in reference to last season, and it was a stat with it was pressing per minutes.
Was it the pressing stats?
It was a pressing stats, right?
Yeah.
And Fornells and Lanzini were fucking. Now we're up the top in the whole Premier League, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you're playing a game which is high
No,
energy,
I did see that. Yeah.
yeah. So if you're playing a game which is high energy and possession based, like you just said, and you're holding onto the ball, and then Lanzini is exactly the type of player that you want. He's intelligent. He drops into pockets of space. He turns the ball over really well. You know, he just literally he will do that one touch passing. And if you're pressing as a team, Lanzini will be good. He ain't going to be no good pressing on his own. He ain't got the legs.
No,
but if you're pressing as a team, he's definitely a useful player. So even Manu, you know, I know we've got an option to trigger the extension on his deal. If a different manager comes in the summer, they might look at Manu and go,
No, I think he wants to go now. I think he wants to go back to Argentina, doesn't he?
Yeah,
River Plate.
He wants to go back.
It'd be a shame for me because he will always be one of my favourite players, Lanzini.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, of course.
We'll always have that moment. We'll always have that thrill that will live with us forever.
Yeah,
It will.
That was sort of right up there with
One of the best moments. Well, it's my ringtone. It's still my ringtone now.
Yeah. Just never forget that. Never
Beautiful.
forget that.
I know it is. But anyway, Leo. So I think you mentioned earlier on what your answer would be. But so as we've said in the chat, we said to everyone else. So David Moyes is going to keep us up. But if he wins the cup, would you stick or twist next season?
I was a part of the 90% that said Moyes out.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I am
excellent.
fully Moyes out. I am for a progressive manager. I think that's the best for the players that we have available in our squad as well.
Yeah.
And just like a complete rebuild. Managerial rebuild would be the best possible thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Leo, well, thank you very much for the call, mate, because we just want to
Cheers,
get
Leo.
one more quick call in.
And your Achilles gets better.
Yes, I hope you recover, mate.
Thank you.
I hope
Thank you for
recover well.
allowing me to be on. I really appreciate it.
No, mate, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Take care, mate. Good luck.
Have a good one.
Cheers,
See
mate.
you later.
Are we only taking calls from injured people and ill people tonight?
It's this one.
Go on, mate.
Gents, I'll never forget the Masuaku Chelsea. That was one of the most hilarious fucking
Call
things.
this
ever.
number are
That was.
barred from your phone.
Right, Mr.
I'm sorry. Goodbye.
Mr. Denmark, I can't phone out to you on WhatsApp, so you'll have to phone back in.
Mr. Denmark.
I haven't got his name.
That is
I
racist.
I don't know who it is.
That's just
Mr. Denmark,
racist.
if you do call back in now, we'll pick up, mate.
Yeah, or anyone else before that matter. Like
Yeah,
one
we
last
won't,
call.
but Nick
Whoever gets in first.
Yeah.
Whoever gets
Right, go on
in
in.
first.
Go on, John. Do you want to run through a few comments?
Yes, let's go, Kev.
Oh, no, he's here.
Unknown
He's here.
caller.
There you go. Hello, is that Mr. Denmark?
Hello?
Hello, it's Nick from Claret and Booze. You're on with Oggy of the Marshes and Gary and Nick.
Yeah, fantastic. My name is Ryan from Denmark.
Hello, Ryan from Denmark.
Hi, Ryan.
How are you, mate?
Hey.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm great. It's good that we finally got a win against Man U.
And a good performance as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So what would you like? Mark Reaper on the line. John's called you. He's called you Mark Reaper.
So you a member of the Scandinavian Hammers over there, Ryan?
No, unfortunately not.
No?
But I've been following the Hammer since '98,
Oh, no.
so I've been following for a long time.
Oh, good stuff. What would you like to talk about tonight, mate?
Just David Moyes a little bit, and then I think the way we played the last game or the last month, when we don't really have a playing style, we need to pressure the opponent because it makes everything go. Our technical players are much better,
Yeah.
and we're not under that much pressure defensively as well. Instead of these, and I've been warning Moyes out for before the season started.
Yeah.
I can't stand that he doesn't make substitutions early enough.
I like this.
Sometimes
caller.
he plays until like 80, 85 minutes, and like we spoke about with Leo before. Like Lanzini is a good player, Downs is a good player. We have amazing players that can come in and they're technical, and Moyes is just complete shit.
Yes.
Sorry for my language, but
Yeah. No, mate. I completely agree. I think he's tactically inept. I think we've said it before. I think David Moyes is good at what he does. David Moyes he's got a place in football. You know, when he came in, he done the recovery job. He done the basics. You know, he came in. He identifies that players are not running enough. He does that, so he gets us fit. He gets us running. He gets us committed. He goes out and he can go and get your Dawsons, and he can go and get your players like that, and he can make those players better. But his weakness has always been. He proved that when he was, you know, when he was at Everton. You know, with he couldn't deal with Rooney when he went to Man United.
No.
He literally, once you start dealing with higher end players, David Moyes. It's like the ugly girlfriend thing, you know. He prefers those because they're more grateful. I think that's what it is. He likes to go. He likes to go for the. He likes to go for the less for the less
cheeky bit of misogyny thrown in there. Well done, Nick.
Yeah,
Go on.
I know. It was a bit misogyny. I know.
I mean,
sorry, everyone.
I think you're right. I think you're right, Mr. Mark Reaper. I think obviously we sort of play sort of same sort of style as the Denmark national team, don't we? Really?
Exactly. Like in the old days when we won the Euro.
1992, when you won it in 1992. That was a great story. That was a great story.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I think if you look at the last maybe 18 months, how many players have Moyes really improved?
Well, no.
Like if you really look at it,
he hasn't.
Like most of the players he's brought in have regressed. Like I know Kara, for me, Kara, he's a good defender, but he's only been like good the last month. Before that, he was making a ton of mistakes.
Yeah.
Mate, I know. I think you could arguably you could say in his first stint you could say he improved on Arnautovic. In his second stint, maybe you could say he's improved Antonio, where he's converted a winger to a striker.
Yeah.
I think that's it. You know, maybe Dawson.
I
think you could say he's improved Dawson because Dawson came in. Dawson came in an average player and he left a legend. So but he's at the, you know, fair enough. Arnie he's a top level player. He is. But he changed his position, you know. But that's a bit of an anomaly, I think. As we've seen, generally with higher level players, he doesn't improve higher level players. He doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
You know.
No, and then I also think that defensive football is not the way to play anymore. I mean, if you look at us and Spurs, like you can see, of course, Spurs maybe they have a better offensive line than we do, but that's it. Like this defensive football is not the way to play now. Like you need to play high intensity, pressure the opponent, and there's really only one team that I fear, and that's Man City. I think all the other teams we can go at.
No, he's shown he's a one-trick pony, right? He has one type of football, one brand of football that he can play. He tried to adopt a different way of playing, not to depend so much on set pieces, etc. Tried to get people to have more possession in midfield, which completely fucked Souček up. He didn't know how to handle it, and so he's reverted to Plan A. Yeah, that's what he's done.
Cool.
And
oh, sorry. Go on, Gal.
It's been successful, relatively successful.
I've got to say, we know you're not Austrian. We know you're not Austrian. We know you're Danish. But there is a slight. Can you please say "get to the chopper" like Arnold Schwarzenegger, please?
Yeah, get to the chopper.
There you go.
You know what? I have a funny story. I have a funny story.
You do sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You do.
Yeah, but you know what? About 15 years ago, I was ski bumming in Austria, and one of my good mates, Lee from England, he was a Charlton fan, and he called me Arnie because he said the same thing.
That's brilliant. No, you're a good sport.
That's good.
You're a good sport. John, you've got a bit of a Danish connection in your family. Do they all speak like Arnold Schwarzenegger over there?
No, pretty much. I used to work for Maersk as well, so I spent a lot of time in Copenhagen. So I've got my wife's.
It's a nice city.
Yeah, it's lovely. My wife's uncle lives in Randers. You know Randers? I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
So we fly into Aarhus when we go over there. Yeah, it's a lovely country.
Someone said you sound more like Arnie than Arnie.
You sound more like Arnie than Arnie.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So anyway, I think you've already answered the question anyway. So you obviously, I don't need to ask you. So you want to see us move on. I'll tell you what. I'll ask you a different question. I don't know whether you've heard the stories that have come out just recently about the fact, the story that we put out, where obviously Sean Whetstone's spoken to his senior source, and they've basically said, in response to David Moyes and Rob Newman working on their shortlist for the rebuild next season, which we know there's going to be, they went to their senior source and said, "Is this true?" And he said, first of all, they laughed and they said, "Well, we don't know what division we're going to be in." And then they said, "But when we do know, we're not going to be giving David Moyes and Rob Newman another penny." Do you think that now we've seen the players that Rob Newman has brought in, bearing in mind he was mandated to bring players in to suit a different style of play? Do you think Rob Newman's failed, or do you think it's David Moyes that can't realise that football style?
No.
What do you reckon? What's your opinion on that? Do you think it's fair for Rob Newman to be the sacrificial lamb?
No, but I mean the only thing he's failed at is maybe not have a conversation with Moyes about how he would like to play or how he would play. But I think the players he's brought in have been amazing and or they're top quality.
Yeah.
Like we just need a manager who knows how to play with them.
I agree.
And because like seriously, if you think about it, we have the best England midfielder. We have the Brazil number 10. We have the Italian starting striker. We have like Aguerd, he's an amazing defender. We have Kara, who's a German international. And then, like, this is another thing I don't get with Moyes. We have the French backup keeper in goal. Like, he needs to play. I know Fabianski, he's been a good servant and he's still a quality keeper. But like for me, we should have played what's his name?
Areola.
Areola. Like, he should have been given more playing time.
Yeah.
But for me, it's Moyes who have failed.
Yeah,
sure.
It has. He has failed, and I think it would be a travesty because as the more I've been reading, following on from that story that we put out, the more I've been reading, the narrative is starting to lean more towards Rob Newman. Have you seen it, Gary? Some of the stories that have been peddling.
Yeah. They're gonna use him as the sacrificial lamb. They're gonna throw him under the bus. But
that isn't gonna work. That won't work with the fact we're not stupid fans. It won't work. We won't accept it.
As Ryan rightly said just now, I think he's signed a lot of very, very good players. I was just thinking of all the players that he signed. If you go back a couple of months, I wouldn't have said the same thing. But now, when you look at how some of them have progressed, he's made some real top signings. The only one that's got a question mark above his head is Cornet at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone. Is there anyone else?
No, not presently. No, Cornet's the one.
I wouldn't say so. I mean, look,
well, I'd probably.
No,
well, you could argue Skamaka, couldn't you? To some extent,
you could, but I firmly believe that Skamaka's a good player, though, and I think we won't lose money. We won't lose money on
him. But if you're talking about Rob Newman, if Rob Newman was tasked as a head of recruitment to go out and source players to play a different style of play, and he's gone out and he's found these players. Now, look, don't get me wrong. If you play in a possession-based team and you're getting players up around Skamaka, do you doubt that Skamaka wouldn't be successful, John? Do you think he would be?
100%. Of course he would.
He'd be successful, wouldn't he? You know? If
Skamaka was fit now and where we've got a lot of people firing, he would also be firing, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
If played. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
They're all coming good together because they're all gelling now. Because I do think Paqueta's a big part of this. I think he's linking it all to some extent, mentally and on the pitch. You know what I mean? But I just think it all seems too obvious to me. But no, he's getting a lot of love. This caller from Denmark, a lot of love for the caller and Danish.
Yeah,
women.
you are, mate. You are.
Yeah.
You are.
It's amazing, but I love your show. It's good to hear proper fans and not this media blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Sometimes the like when you see these pundits and they're like, you had to save the manager and blah blah. And I agree that Sullivan has probably got the right thing in not firing Moyes, but I think he should have been fired before the World Cup. That would have been the perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
And then regarding Skamaka, he's an amazing striker. Like, do you remember that goal where he chipped the keeper from inside the penalty?
Yeah, I was there. I was behind the goal.
Top quality striker. Yeah, that could be goal of the season probably.
Well, the thing is, Skamaka has scored every flavour of goal, I think. I think he's
you're
proved that he can pretty much score from outside the box, inside the box. He's good in the air. He can score a volley. He can score a tap in. He can do the lot.
Yeah.
You know, he's a. I think he could be a complete player. But you know, going back to that argument that was Sullivan right to stick with David Moyes, that is suggesting that there is no other manager that could have come in with this group of players before the World Cup and done the same thing
and done even better. Even better, right?
That's mental.
Yeah, but like Gary said,
there's a ton of good young managers out there.
Yeah.
But like Gary said, you know, the interview he did where he thanked the board, if he wins the cup, right? If he wins this cup, there will be a massive loving between the board and Moyes, where they will be patting both and each other and themselves on the back, saying, "Ain't it great we didn't part company?" So in a way, the winning of the cup is great because we've won fuck all. But in a funny way, it will just back up the wrong decisions made by the board.
Yeah,
so
it will, and both things can be true, as Nick just said. Both things can be true, right? Keeping him on, and if he wins the cup and everything, you could say that's the right decision, right? Reluctantly, you could say that's the right decision. I still firmly believe it's the wrong decision because the opposite could have been true as well, right? Where they hired someone good just before the World Cup. Come in, hit the ground running. We stayed up comfortably and also won the Conference League. Just to say that they're right to keep him on doesn't negate the fact that he should have been fired.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree.
No,
I agree.
No, but
go on, mate.
But I think if we win the Conference League, this is a perfect time for everybody to go their separate ways on a perfect note. Because if we will win and Moisey goes, he will never be forgotten.
Yeah,
every fan will appreciate because I'm sure all the fans will forget the past 18 months. We'll just remember we won the league and we got a European trophy and that's it. It's a perfect way to split. And maybe Sullivan sells the club, you get in new owners, and then I have a sneaky feeling that if we get in new owners, we are in the Europa League, and they are more let's say aggressive with signing in new players. Who knows what's going to happen with Rice? If he sees we're signing good players, we're going to play the Europa League.
That's my fault. I'm hanging on to that. I don't see Rice staying if there's not a change in ownership. I don't think he will.
No.
You know,
no, I agree.
But anyway, mate, that was an absolutely fantastic call. Make sure you call back in again. That was really good.
Yeah, I will.
And if you're ever
thanks for having me, and if you're good work.
If you're ever over for a game, you've got our number. So make sure you hit us up, and we'll meet you for a beer before the game.
Sounds good.
Yeah, but
I'm keen to see if your stature is going to fit your voice. Whether you're going to have biceps the size of Copenhagen, like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, unfortunately not. Unfortunately not.
He's only 5'4".
Yeah.
No, I'm like 6 foot, but you're not like Arnold.
If you do come over, bring some Danish girls with you. Just say
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I will. Some tall blonde ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the best. They are the best.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you very much for the call, mate. That was brilliant. Make sure you do call in again as well.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Cheers.
And you. Cheers, mate.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Get to the chopper.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Get to the chopper.
Hey, top man.
Bye.
See you, mate.
Oh, what a
He'll
good man.
be back.
What a good man. Yeah, he'll be. He should have said that, yeah.
People in the chat just absolutely going mad about him. Like
he was good though, wasn't he? He was good. He literally did sound like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger, didn't he? He was.
We've gone all international. America.
I know.
Yeah. Some bloke called Irish Tommy in the chat from Ireland.
Yeah.
There's always one that ruins it.
That was good. That was a good show. Gary, handing over to you because I know you're keen to go and get some shut eye.
I am indeed. Yeah, thanks for all your comments tonight. It's been a good show, actually. Been a nice, cheerful, upbeat, happy show.
Drop a like before you go.
Drop a like before you go. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, Claret & Booze on YouTube. We'll be back this week. I think you're going to do a preview, aren't you, Nick, of Alkmaar on sometime on Wednesday or something.
I'm going to
get bored. What I'm going to do what I did last time there was a game. I'm going to come back from the game, come out to my shed, do a review, and release it the following morning because it'd be fresh. That'd be good. So and John, you can do one this week.
Nah,
do a ramble. You're not gonna do a ramble.
Only if there's something to talk about. Otherwise,
just get insulted by these people. I'm not giving these people in the chat nothing. Just get insulted all night. Ain't giving him anything. I'm only joking. No, we'll do something. Yeah, probably
Anyway,
tomorrow. Probably
that's
tomorrow.
all. That's us done. Till next time. See you soon, and come on, you irons.
Come on, you heads.
Oh, yeah.